Welcome to Texas National Bank Field at Bobby Lackey Stadium as KWES brings you the 31-6A Track and Field District Championship. We're about to get underway in the final of the running events. Earlier today and yesterday we had the field events and some distance events, and throughout the broadcast we'll bring you the finals of all of those and the standings and all that good stuff. But again, we have a great night in store for you of some great track running events here at Bobby Lackey Stadium. It is the 31-6A Track and Field District Championship. I am Joe Aguilar, joined by no other than Mike Gonzalez, and we'll bring you all the action from tonight's track and field.
Well, it's like Coach Pablo Maguire told me, the girls head coach for Weslaco High School. It's just when the going gets tough, the tough get going. It's a famous line that Coach Jimmy Platt used to use here at Weslaco for a very long time. And of course, we all know how Pablo ran for him back in the 90s and had a lot of success. But it's like no matter how you did in the first 6, 7, 8 meets, Pablo says this is their 8th meet. What matters is today. Now moving forward, today and moving forward, it's about finishing in the top and advancing.
Yeah, the top 4 in each event will advance to area, which will be held in Harlingen from what I understand so far. And then, of course, from area, they go to regionals up in San Antonio. We are already getting ready to get underway, and the first event is a 4x100 meter relay. It'll be the girls followed by the boys. So let's go ahead and give you the lane assignments for our first race of the evening. In lane 2, it'll be PSJA. In lane 3, Edinburgh North. In lane 4, Edinburgh High. In lane 5, it'll be Weslaco. In lane 6, La Jolla. And in lane 7, Edinburgh Economides. PSJA will start off with Giselle Abad. She'll hand it off to Aubrey Garza. Then it's Miranda Zamora. And anchoring will be Aaliyah Guerrero. Edinburgh North, it'll be Kaylee Andrade, followed by Amory Williams, Allison Andrade, and then the anchor is Emily Hernandez. Edinburgh High, Bianca Garcia, Mia Gonzalez, Michaela Campos, and the anchor for the Lady Bobcats is Yurida Perez Duran. Weslaco is in lane 5, Gabby Jackson, Andrea Torres, Alessandra Torres, and the anchor is Sadie Romero. La Jolla is in lane 6, Samantha Zamora, Montserrat Ayala, Victoria Gonzalez, and their anchor is Areli Rosales. And Edinburgh Economides is in lane 7, Emily Bounds, Gabriela Maldonado, Marilyn Ortiz, and anchored by Larissa Lopez. The best qualifying time in this event is held by Edinburgh, 48.95. Weslaco right behind them, 49.78. So lanes 4 and 5 are the ones that we are going to look out for here in this first event this evening.
And coming into these events, Joe, as we all know, the field events already took place. Right now, as we speak, PSJA High is in first place with 50 points, and right behind them is Weslaco High with 44, Edinburgh North with 38, La Jolla also has 38 points, followed by Edinburgh with 35, and Edinburgh Economides with 12. And, you know, Pablo was involved in a lot of these great track meets back in the 90s. And he remembers one year where Harlingen dominated and Weslaco beat Harlingen where it counted in district. So basically, he knows anything can happen any given time. And so he feels pretty good about his position. And so let's see how the girls start off the running events.
The district record is 48.84, set in 2015 by our very own Weslaco girls. And they are set, and we are underway here in the 31-6A district track meet. Weslaco off to a great start. The first leg is Gabby Jackson. She'll be followed by Andrea Torres, and it's a good exchange there. It's Edinburgh and Weslaco there in the 2 middle lanes. Edinburgh making up that stagger. A good leg there by Mia Gonzalez. The third leg for Weslaco is going to be Alessandra Torres, and Edinburgh on the inside lane. Michaela Campos has already extended the lead for Edinburgh, and here come the anchor people. The anchor for Edinburgh, Yudira Perez Duran, and she's got the baton, and she is out in front. Weslaco's anchor is none other than Sadie Romero, and she is making a valiant effort to see if she can overtake her, but I don't think she did. Looked like Edinburgh got first, followed by Weslaco in second.
One of the things that Pablo told me that was going to be key to these running events was the exchange of the baton. Edinburgh did a wonderful job with that, so did Weslaco, but if you notice, Joe, in the third exchange, La Jolla had some issues passing the baton in this, so they fell pretty far behind. But if this race would have gone another 25 meters or so, I think Sadie would have had a great chance to surpass the Edinburgh runner. But look at her run hard. She almost caught up to her, and just a great race overall. Great finish. It looks like Edinburgh North finished in third place.
So a good race there by the girls to get things going here in the track part of this event. And we will go down to the boys 4x100 meter relay. In lane 2 is Edinburgh North. In lane 3, La Jolla. In lane 4, it is Weslaco. In lane 5, it's Edinburgh. In lane 6, it'll be Far San Juan Alamo, PSJA. In lane 7, Edinburgh Economides. Edinburgh North will have Patricio Atilano, followed by Heriberto Castillo, Mario Salinas, and their anchor is going to be Adrian Marroquin. Lane 3 is La Jolla, Luis Argona, Caleb Moreno, Dante Perez, and their anchor is Miguel Ornelas. Weslaco, they'll get things going with Nathan Diaz, Andres Valdez, Andres Mandujano, and anchored by Anthony Martinez. Edinburgh, David de la Garza, Woodrow Villarreal, Giovanni Villasana, Isaiah Cisneros will be their anchor. PSJA is Ramsey Arroyo, Jacob Lucio, Devin Hernandez, Alexander Flores is their anchor. And in lane 7, Edinburgh Economides, Derek Cantu, Joseph Cortinas, Prudencio Cantu, and anchored by Diego Cantu. The record for the 4x100 meter relay is held by Weslaco, set in 2019, 42:54. Maldonado, Dina, Hernandez, and Jones.
The good news for Weslaco is they have a pretty big cushion coming into these running events, 64 points. And in second place is a PSJA with 38, and right behind him is Edinburgh Economides with 34. Actually, he's tied for third place with Edinburgh High with 34 points. And the Weslaco, Joe, is aiming for its first district title since 2016. So it's been a long while, and Coach Gus Cabrera even told me, he's just like, we've been there, we've kind of been the bridesmaid a little bit. You know, Weslaco has been in the Cameron County district for a number of years.
Yeah,
where Harlingen is right there, and they've dominated these past years or so. But he feels really good about where they're at. And the other thing, Joe, that's going to be key is that he is going to have at least one representative in the running events in the finals. So that gives you an opportunity there.
Yeah, as I was looking, here we go. They are set and they are off. A good, clean start in the 4x100 meter relay. Weslaco and Edinburgh are the two teams to watch here. La Jolla is running pretty close. Edinburgh with a little bit of difficulties on the exchange there, and Weslaco is coming up and making up the difference there. That's Andres Valdez, one of our better athletes. The second leg, he did a great job. And a good exchange there on the third leg. And the third leg is Andres Mandujano. And here comes Anthony Martinez. He is out in front and he gets the baton and he is off to the races. Weslaco is out in front. And on his inside is Edinburgh. Edinburgh North. Edinburgh High. That is going to be Edinburgh High. I'm sorry, La Jolla. La Jolla. I'm sorry, I was reading it backwards. It's La Jolla on the inside. And that was it was Miguel Ornelas with just a great, impressive final leg.
Yeah, we've had two great races to start off this district meet, Joe. And look at that last exchange there. It kind of looked like Weslaco was going to have the edge, but look, check out that runner from La Jolla just surpassing him, and look at him go. And look at the determination. And Edinburgh is not far behind, but it came down to the wire. But yeah, just La Jolla by about a meter or so. So nice job there by the Coyotes.
Yeah, they did a great job in finishing that. And of course, you know, just maybe that one stride to half stride difference could have been on the exchange. And I don't know if you saw that final exchange there for Weslaco between Mandujano and Martinez. Martinez almost had to turn around. As we can see here, there was just that one little fraction of the turning of the body that could have been the difference there.
And the young man's name is Miguel Ornelas from La Jolla. And he's the one that brought home that that win in this event.
And as you were alluding to just a little while ago, how important those exchanges are. And that could make a difference between finish first and finishing second. And I, have to say, I'm convinced that was the difference in that 4x100 meter relay. The next event is going to be the girls 800 meter relay, followed by the boys. It'll be Amory Ebarb of Weslaco, Myra Sandoval of Edinburgh, Asante Stewart of La Jolla, Destiny Trevino of Edinburgh, Jenna Peña of Weslaco, Delisa Sanchez of Edinburgh North, Mia Lamas of PSJA, Jerica Lugo of Edinburgh North, Elora de la Cerda of PSJA, Danae Arellano of Edinburgh, Aline Sandoval of La Jolla, Vanessa de la Cruz of Edinburgh Economides, Elizabeth Bolanos, also of Edinburgh Economides, Leila Vallejo of Weslaco, Citali de la Cruz of PSJA, Ashlyn Reyes of Edinburgh North, Naida Covarrubias of La Jolla, and Dulce Cruz of Edinburgh Economides. Amory Ebarb of Weslaco coming in with the best qualifying time of 2:22.55, and the district record was set back in 2024, just last year. San Juanita Leal with a time of 2:11.68.
I don't know if that record will be broken today. That's very fast.
That's very impressive.
That's a very impressive time. And while we wait, Joe, I do have the results of the girls 4x100 meter relay and the boys as well. In fourth place was Edinburgh Economides. Third place was Edinburgh North. Second place is Weslaco High School, and your first place winner with a time of 49.50 is Edinburgh High School. The top 4 teams that we read out, Joe, are the ones that are advancing, as you mentioned, to lead off the broadcast. And on the boys' side, fourth place was PSJA High. Third place is Edinburgh High School. Second place is Weslaco High School, and your first place winner with a time of 43.95 is La Jolla High School.
Mike, one of the things that you mentioned right now is that you don't think the record is going to be broken. I don't think any records are going to go down tonight, and let me tell you why. That wind is gusting.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's blowing from the southwest to southeast, southeast to the southwest, and it is blowing very hard, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to make a mention of that as we began the broadcast, is that we are looking at some very gusty winds here tonight as we are, with the district meet here, and they're coming out of the southeast at 23 miles an hour.
And that's because it's 6:10, almost 6:15, and it's still blowing very hard. So even when the sun goes down, the meet's going to go by pretty quick. But we'll see how the wind goes. But yeah, even at this hour, the wind is still howling at
23 miles an hour.
It's gusting,
pretty hard.
I mean, look at the palm trees just kind of swaying from side to side there. And, we saw
the forecast isn't letting up wind-wise. Let's just put it that way.
And we always say how March is the month that we have this wind, and now we're into the month has switched from March to April, and it's still howling out there.
A lot of it has to do because we're getting a cold front tomorrow.
Yeah, and so the wind is going to shift from the southeast to the north, from the north to the south.
So here we go. The girls are getting onto the track for the 800 meter run. Again, as we mentioned, Amory Ebarb with the best qualifying time as we get started here, 2:22. And of course, if you think you heard that name before, it's because her older sister ran here forever, dominated in these sports, and as a matter of fact, is closing out her career at the University of Texas in Austin.
Yeah, that time flies, doesn't it? We remember seeing Amity for all those years in cross country and track, and she's running at University of Texas, right? And as a matter of fact, the last time the girls won a district championship was when Amity was here in 2021. And so I know, just like Coach Cabrera is waiting to hoist that trophy, so is Pablo on the girls' side. He feels like it's been too long. And both teams, both programs have an opportunity.
Well, they got Amory and Jenna out there already, so we'll see how they fare tonight. And of course, a couple of girls from Edinburgh, Destiny Trevino and Myra Sandoval, along with Asante Stewart there.
And you know who kind of scares me a little bit, Joe? And I think I've said it before, is the young lady from Edinburgh Economides, Dulce Cruz, because she has a no time. Those are the ones that you don't know what to expect. And they are very scrappy. So
not only that, was she injured all this time, and now it's been cleared to compete.
Right.
You know, you've awakened a sleepy giant.
Absolutely. And we've come across it before in other meets where we just out of nowhere, we have an individual that just kind of steps up and finishes in either the first place or second place. And so I'm going to keep my eye on her.
Yeah, I was about to make a joke. The track coach is out there watching the kids run to the lunch line, and he says, "Hey, I need you out in the track team."
Yeah. And then years later, they get a scholarship.
Yeah, exactly. So here we go. Ladies are lined up. We're getting ready for the 800-meter run. A good, clean start here to begin the girls 800. Amory getting out there in front, followed by Jenna Peña. And they will get out there, try to set the pace here. Yeah, as soon as they get out of that turn, they'll get to those cones and she can make their way down to the first lane. And out in front is Amory Ebarb, followed by a young lady from PSJA. And Jenna Peña sitting in fourth place. The lady from PSJA looks to be Citali de la Cruz. And they got three ladies up there setting the tempo as they make the final turn of the first lap. So Amory and the young lady from Edinburgh now setting the pace here as we come down to the final 500 meters of this run. So we got Weslaco, Amory Ebarb. We've got Asante Stewart of La Jolla, first and second. Ebarb and Stewart, first and second. And the young lady from PSJA in third, trying to hang on, but Stewart and Ebarb beginning to extend their lead there and separating from the rest of the pack. We've got about 300 meters to go. Now about 250. And Ebarb still out in front, followed by Stewart. And as soon as they hit the 200-meter mark right now, we'll see who's got the most in the tank. And right now, Ebarb looking really strong. She kind of looked like she may have picked it up a step or two.
Yeah, it looks like she extended the lead a little bit there as we close in on the last 100 meters.
Here comes Ebarb, followed by Stewart. Ebarb looks like she is going to hang gold around her neck. Ebarb looking strong, but here comes Stewart trying to finish hard. Ebarb, can she hang on? Ebarb is giving it all that she's got. It's Ebarb followed by Stewart, and it's Ebarb, Stewart, and the young lady from Edinburgh, and then Jenna Peña. So the Lady Panthers sending two girls from the 800-meter run to the area round.
Yeah, and that's key, Joe, because Peña is going to give her team a few more points by finishing in that fourth place. So you see her kind of thanking the man above up there. You know, she's kind of congratulating herself a little bit, you know, so she qualifies in this event to the area round. But nice job by Amory Ebarb, pretty much controlling the whole race and the way she paced herself, Joe,
yeah,
as you mentioned. I know she's a little exhausted, as you can see. She's looking at herself in the scoreboard, and now here come her teammates. Oh, what a good feeling, though, right? To be able to control the whole race and finish at a good time there. And I know Coach Amaguera is very happy.
Yeah, she got out to a good start, got way out in front, and just decided that she was going to be the pace setter of this race and put it all on her shoulders.
I mean, I was looking at after the first lap, the other young lady, I thought she was going to kind of make a move from La Jolla, but as you mentioned, Joe, at about the 300-meter mark, we noticed that Ebarb kind of extended her lead, and we just knew that she was going to hang on. And you see there, like the last 50 meters, there was probably the last attempt for the young lady.
Yeah, Stewart just didn't have enough in the tank.
Correct.
She gave it all she got, though.
Yeah, but it was just too much Ebarb in this race.
Right. So we now go to the boys division. It'll be Yahir Martinez of Edinburgh Economides, Diego Torres of Edinburgh North, Jorge Rangel of Weslaco, Nicolas Salinas of Edinburgh North, Ivan Cano of Edinburgh North, Jesus Gaona of Weslaco, Sebastian Cabañas of Weslaco, Axel Ochoa of Edinburgh Economides, Eliel Garcia of Edinburgh Economides, Angel Nasi of Edinburgh, Hadrian Vega of PSJA, Justin Ramirez also of PSJA, Keith Torres of Edinburgh, Arturo Yado of La Jolla, Joshua Casarin of La Jolla, Diego Sanchez of Edinburgh, and Jeremiah Lewis also of PSJA. And the record for the boys 800-meter run is 1:54.94, set by Wally Gonzalez back in 2006. Yahir Martinez coming in with the best qualifying time at 2 minutes flat and 1600ths of a second, followed by Diego Torres of Edinburgh North, 2 minutes flat, 6/800ths of a second. So those two guys coming in with the best qualifying times, and we'll see how they fare today. Weslaco's Jorge Rangel just 4 seconds off of that pace. But again, as you're facing stiffer competition, they tend to kind of pull you. Good, clean start. 3 young men from Edinburgh North out there on top in the top 5. And of course, from Weslaco, it's Jorge Rangel.
Number 1, Yair Martinez, Economides, fastest qualifier, 2 minutes with 1 second.
So the young man from Edinburgh Economides, Yahir Martinez, out there in front setting the tempo. And it's going to be Jorge Rangel trying to stay there on his heels, just on the outside shoulder. Young man from Edinburgh North trying to muscle his way into there as he almost got boxed in, but he made a little bit of room there to get himself into second. And of course, Jorge Rangel is now in third. Right there is the bunch as we come down the home stretch of the first lap. So a good tight race here as we approach the first lap completion.
There's a couple of Weslaco runners on the outside that looks like they're trying to make a move.
That's Jesus Gaona and Sebastian Cabañas. So again, you know, for the most part, there is hardly anybody that is falling behind here. Now you got the first 4 kind of beginning to make a move here. Trying to get the bib number in that one, and that's Diego Torres out there in front, but Yahir Martinez right there on his shoulder. So Torres and Martinez, the 2 guys that come in with the best qualifying times, are out there in front. Jorge Rangel is trying to stay with them. So we got down to the final 200 meters. And it is Diego Torres looking really strong. I don't know if Martinez has a kick. And we'll see as they come out the home stretch. It is Torres, followed by Martinez. And Torres beginning to put on the jets. He is going to finish strong, and Torres is going to get this one, followed by Martinez. But the young man from Edinburgh North looking to want to take over third place. Can't see his bib number. But Weslaco, Jorge Rangel will make area. But Edinburgh North finishing first and third, and it's Yahir Martinez second place. So good finish there by Diego Torres with the gold, followed by Martinez with the silver. As I mentioned, I couldn't get the bib number of the guy that finished bronze, but from where we are standing, it looked like Jorge Rangel got 4th.
Yeah, I know for a fact there was an Edinburgh North runner that got 3rd place, but
right.
Jorge Rangel was able to still qualify as a 4th place finisher. But a nice job there by Torres in being able to extend that lead. Pretty much, what, Joe, the last 200 meters or so.
That might be Ivan Cano that finished in 3rd.
Yeah, as you see him surpassing Rangel. But Rangel was able to still finish in 4th place, so nice job. And then we have a couple of Weslaco runners that finished like in 6th and 7th place.
Now we go to the hurdles, and they're going to move the hurdles to the opposite side of the track, as we've mentioned throughout previous broadcasts, because of the way the wind blows here in Weslaco, and of course where we are in South Texas. As we mentioned earlier, it's blowing out of the southeast at about 23 miles an hour. They are going to run with the wind, so they'll run on the opposite side of the stadium. And in the girls 100-meter hurdles, it'll be in lane 1, Mary Jane Coca of PSJA, Debony Garza of La Jolla, Melanie Ramos Ramos of Edinburgh, Mia Gonzalez, also of Edinburgh, Kaylee Andrade of Edinburgh North, Allison Andrade of Edinburgh North, Zoe Daniel of Edinburgh North, and Debony Trejo of Edinburgh Economides. It is Mia Gonzalez with the best qualifying time at 14:99, and that is just about a second better than anybody else.
So Daniel.
And the record is 14:24 back in 2012 by Leah Brown. I remember that name.
Yeah, she was here.
Was she at
Harlingen.
Harlingen South, I think?
Yeah.
Or was it Harlingen High?
Harlingen South.
It was Harlingen South. Yeah, I recognize that name. She was a phenomenal track runner.
Yeah.
And while we wait, Joe, I do have the results of the girls' 800-meter run. Fourth place was Jenna Peña out of Weslaco. Third place was Myra Sandoval out of Edinburgh. Second place is Asante Stewart out of La Jolla. And your first place winner with a time of 2:21.89 is Anne-Marie Ebarb out of Weslaco.
Yeah, as we mentioned, records are going to be hard, especially if you're having to run into that wind as they did on the, actually twice on the back stretches. And then, of course, probably on the first turn as well, you're going a little bit into that wind.
So on a day like this, is it fair to say if you're going to make your move, it's to do it when you're going with the wind, correct?
Right. Yeah, I would say yes. You would have to, try to get try to take as much advantage of that as possible.
Because when they're running the last 100 meters or so, it's against the wind.
Yeah.
So just imagine, going up against a 23-mile-an-hour wind, howling at your face, and and you're trying to catch up or you're trying to hold the lead. How challenging that is.
Yeah, because you're trying to keep your head down, and it's going to just kind of make you stand up, and it makes you almost your body as a parachute. So yeah. So here we go. The girls are in their spots for the 100-meter hurdles. They're getting the last final instructions from the starter. The starter is making his way to the starting booth. And again, it is going to be Mary Jane Coca of PHA, Debony Garza of La Jolla, Melanie Ramos of Edinburgh, Mia Gonzalez of Edinburgh, Kaylee Andrade of Edinburgh North, Allison Andrade of Edinburgh North, Zoe Daniel of Edinburgh North, and Debony Trejo of Edinburgh Economides. And again, the best qualifying time coming in is Mia Gonzalez. She is in lane 4. She is of Edinburgh High. 14:99 is the best qualifying time. So she and the rest of the competitors are in their blocks, getting ready to get going. This is the girls' 100-meter hurdles. Good, clean start, and it's in the middle. Mia Gonzalez out in front, and she is way out in front, almost a full hurdle length, and she is just alternating those legs back and forth and getting across with the gold. And it is Mia Gonzalez with the gold, followed by Kaylee Andrade with silver in lane 5 from Edinburgh North.
I mean, just dominating from the get-go, really, and just a phenomenal job jumping on the hurdle. She makes it look so easy. And an athlete like her, I mean, that's what they do. They just, with the perfect timing, the perfect jump, and just nice clearing. And yeah, no problems for her. And let's not forget, Joe, she has the best last name in the world, Gonzalez.
There you go. Yeah, she cruised right in that one. She along with Andrade at the first hurdle were kind of even, but after that, it was all Gonzalez.
Yeah, she was the only one that came in with a preliminary time of under 15.
Right.
So, I mean, she was favored to win this race, hands down.
So she did a great job. Now we got the boys, so they're going to go a little bit longer, and they're going to raise those hurdles. And so while they do that, I know you've got some more results to pass our way.
Yes, the boys' 800-meter run. In fourth place was Jorge Rangel out of Weslaco. Third place was Ivan Cano out of Edinburgh North. Second place was Yair Martinez out of Edinburgh Economides. And your first place winner with a time of 2:05.24 is Diego Torres out of Edinburgh North. And as far as the team rankings are concerned, right now we have Weslaco in first place with 85 points. In second place is PSJA with 46. As a matter of fact, it's a tie for second. Edinburgh High also has 46 points, and in fourth is Edinburgh North with 44.50. So Weslaco High looks pretty good right now, Joe. They just got to keep it up.
Yeah, I was going to say when we got started, my prediction for the boys side is that Weslaco is going to win this one. As I was looking over the paperwork that were given, I was looking at the number of qualifiers that we had in the finals in each of the events, and Weslaco looks pretty stacked in every event.
Yeah, and then again, that's something that Coach Cabrera told me, is that he likes his position because he's going to have at least one athlete in each running event.
Let's go ahead and give you the athletes that will be competing here in the boys 110-meter high hurdle. Jonathan Ramirez of Edinburgh North in lane 1, Troy Hammond of Edinburgh High in lane 2, Jax Barrera of PSJA in lane 3, Bo Flateau of Edinburgh in lane 4, Jonathan Ovalle Herrera of Edinburgh North in lane 5, Jose Torres of PSJA in lane 6, Jaden Allen of Weslaco in lane 7, and Marco Hernandez of Weslaco in lane 8. The record 14:04 by Randy Bermea. We just saw him a couple of weeks ago here. And the best qualifying time, Bo Plateau, and he is in lane 4, 15:24. And he is doing a superb job. He is out in front of everybody. And it's Herrera from Edinburgh North in second place. So this is going to be Bo Plateau of Edinburgh finishing with the gold, followed by Jonathan Ovalle Herrera of Edinburgh North. So good run there.
Yeah, the only thing that would maybe slow down Flateau were the hurdles there. And if you notice, Joe, there was a couple of them that he almost tripped over, but thankfully he was able to maintain his balance and was able to finish in first place, finish strong there. You know, we have a couple of the runners that were kind of having some issues with the hurdles, but, you know, we see Flateau, you know, so far so good. But then, yeah, there was a couple that he almost lost his balance, but he was able to stay standing and finish strong.
Yeah,
so nice job.
It looked like Jaden Allen may have finished fourth. So we may have a area qualifier from Weslaco there. But the young man, Jax Barrera of PSJA, you were talking about having troubles with the hurdles. He hit quite a few, so that slowed him down a bit there too, because he had the third best time coming into this evening's event.
And Allen came in with the 7th best time, so if he does finish fourth, that'd be a nice jump for him.
Yeah, he was looking really smooth out there. You know, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Mike, you know, this is track meet number 8, but all of them really don't matter till now. And so as we've mentioned before in previous podcasts, you and I, you know, what we want to see is improvement. Now, of course, you're always going to have those top-notch athletes that are always going to finish first, but the others, you know, that are just slowly improving throughout the year, giving themselves a chance to get to that level.
Absolutely, and I know the coaches, the other thing they do is make the adjustments. As the season moves along, they'll make the adjustments, and sometimes some of these athletes, they'll even switch events. And then, so yeah, what matters is now. And but so yeah, nice job there by Allen. Let's see where he finished. I do have the results of the girls 100 meter hurdles. In fourth place was Allison Andrade out of Edinburgh North, and third place was Melanie Ramos out of Edinburgh. Second place was a Kaylee Andrade out of Edinburgh North, and your first place winner with a time of 14:61 is Mia Gonzalez out of Edinburgh High School.
Well, she actually improved 14:61, but you know, again, they're going with the wind.
Right, and that's why they switched it over there. And I do have the results of the boys 110-meter hurdles. Fourth place was a Jonathan Ramirez out of Edinburgh North. And third place was Jose Torres out of PSJA. Second place was Jonathan Ovalle Herrera out of Edinburgh North. And your first place winner with a time of 15:39 is a Bo Flateau out of Edinburgh High School.
What did Allen finish?
Allen, they had him finishing at 6th place.
Okay. Yeah, they all finished really tight there at the end. I couldn't tell, but again, we're on the opposite side.
Yeah.
But he was looking really good, though.
He did improve from his preliminary time. He finished with a 17 flat.
Right.
And he came in with a 17:16 into the race.
Right.
So he did well.
So now we go to the 100-meter dash. This is all the speed burners. And again, we will start with the girls. In lane 1 will be Concepcion Salas of Edinburgh. Larissa Lopez in lane 2. She is of Edinburgh Economides. Andrea Torres of Weslaco is in lane 3. Melissa Coetzer of Edinburgh North is in lane 4. In lane 5, it'll be Michaela Campos of Edinburgh High. In lane 6, Emily Hernandez of Edinburgh North. In lane 7, it'll be Mallory Flores of PSJA. And in lane 8, it'll be Annalise Ostrolaza of PSJA. The best qualifying time coming into tonight's event is Melissa Coetzer of Edinburgh North, 12.23. And the record is 12.35, set last year by Herminia Corrado.
Well,
so a chance for a record to fall.
Yeah, we might have a new record.
But you know what? I don't know if the wind will negate it.
So where are they going to race? Are they going to race on our side or on the opposite?
They're on the opposite side.
They're still going to keep them on the opposite side. Okay. So yeah,
Because
that'll be interesting.
Because Melissa Coetzer comes in with a time already better than the record.
Right, right.
So that's why I said that she may break the record. But again, will the wind permit that to stand? I think it's a little too strong. I forget what the parameters are, but I think we're way above the parameters because we're at about 23 miles an hour.
I know there's a formula or something like that, right? They use some kind of science something that determines whether it's a record or not.
Outside of the stadium, you got about 11 minutes. You look fast enough as these kids. Run over there and back easily, 5 minutes.
So it sounds like they're going to take a break from. And that's the thing about the district meets, Joe, is that they have a schedule, a time schedule, and they stick by it. You know, to, I guess, allow the athletes to rest. So some of them, you know, participate in like 2 or 3 events.
Right. And we're, as we mentioned just a little while ago, and I told you that I was going to mention or throw my own prediction out that the boys would win because I was looking at the athletes in each of the events, and I noticed that Weslaco has quite a few of their athletes in several of tonight's finals, and I was looking at who was running where because you used the word a little while ago, shuffling. Coach Almaguer did shuffle around some of these athletes. You know, both coaches look at, you know, where is it that we can stockpile some points, you know, because again, you know, you've got some great athletes on this squad, you know, 2 in particular, Andres Valdez and Saul Ramirez, you know, so, you know, those guys are going to run one relay and a lot of solo events. So you've got enough athletes to run other kids in the relays, you know, and still have confidence in them to finish well. You know, and of course your main objective is to finish first. So a lot of shuffling, like you were saying earlier, Mike, and on the Weslaco squad, because we've seen a lot of these athletes run different events throughout the year.
You know, talking to Coach Cabrera, I asked him, I go, what needs to happen for you guys to win district this afternoon? He just goes, well, as long as the kids perform like they did in preliminaries, we'll be okay. So I think so far so good. I think, you know, the first few events that we've seen, the boys look like they're performing at a pretty good level. And he just says, get the baton around in the relays is also key. We've always talked about that, how important those exchanges are. And the name he gave me, he is Andres Valdez. He goes, we need for him to run well. And he has been running well. And so, you know, he sounded pretty confident. He says, you know, looking at his kids this morning, he says they're ready, you know, that they've worked for this all year long. By now, it's no secret who's good and who's, you know, right there with you. And he tells me that he feels like his athletes are right there with everybody else. You know, they see it on social media. They see it. Well, we can no longer say newspapers, right? I don't know, but I don't think these kids online, you know.
Yeah,
but
you
yeah,
still have the online newspapers.
Sure. They know who's on top and they know where everybody is, and so at this point, there's no surprises. So he goes, we know what we're capable of, and they know it's in our hands. If they want, they just got to go and get it.
Yeah, and you mentioned the name Andres Valdez, and that's one of the names that you and I were talking about before we came on the air this evening, as he comes in as the district leader so far in the 100 and 200 meter runs. So we'll see him in those two events.
And on the girls' side, Pablo, as mentioned, they haven't won a district title in about 4 or 5 years, since 2021. And he told me he actually gave that speech about his experience back in the 90s when they were heavy underdogs in the district meet, and that Harlingen had dominated the whole season, beating everybody by a wide margin. And so everybody thought Harlingen was going to win that meet. And lo and behold, when it counted the most, it was Weslaco that came out on top. And Pablo shared that story with his girls this morning, that anything can happen. And right now they're in pretty good position. They're right there with PSJA in the standings. And he likes the way everybody did in the field events.
Speaking of Coach Almaguer,
there he is. They're at the 40 yard line, more or less, with the other coaches there, kind of hanging out. He's been down this road as an athlete and as a coach. He knows how important these breaks are. As an athlete, what exactly goes through your mind? Just a lot of mental preparedness?
You just really want to quiet the noise in your head, and you want to really just focus on what needs to get done, because all the work has already been done. And so now it's just a matter of finishing.
Yeah,
and
performing.
So performing.
There you go.
Exactly. Se me acabó el inglés. So yeah, you get out there and just perform, and because you've already done the work, and not only in an athlete, but you think about just a student, because these kids are students at first. You can't go into a test expecting to get 100 if you didn't study. Well, you can't expect to come out and place well or do well if you didn't prepare. Now, of course, there are those exceptions, those guys that just will put on a pair of shoes, and it doesn't matter what shoes they have. They could have chanclas on, and they're still going to run a 9.9 100. You know? But those are the exceptions to the rule. But again, that's exactly right. You come in prepared, and you just want to perform. And that's exactly what they need to do. Just quiet the noise in their head. You were talking about being all over social media and understanding where they're at standing wise and all that good stuff. And so you just got to be out there and understand that you come in and you are just as good as the person that you are lined up next to in this event. You talk about, you mentioned the name Leah Brown because she had that record. Those are some of those phenomenal athletes. We talked about Randy Bermea because he also holds a record here in this district. And we just saw him here back at the Meet of Champs. And we remember watching him run. And again, those guys are just some of those superb athletes that just, are just going to finish first regardless.
Yeah, generational athletes, as they say, those generational talents. That we get,
just like the Jose Garcia that we saw a couple of years ago from Harlingen, who went on to win gold in 6A, and the young lady from Harlingen as well. I hate to say this, Harlingen, but she went to run on in Vanderbilt.
Right. Faith Franklin.
I was waiting for you to say her name. Yeah, I was kind of throwing little pieces of nuggets out there to see if I could get you to say the name. But yeah, again, just those tremendous athletes that come around, and we get to see them here. And again, so we'll see those type of athletes. But again, you've got everybody else that just really works hard to be the best that they can be, and you just want them to get on the podium. You want them to get you some points, and the more people that you have finishing in each event, the more points so you can stockpile.
And just imagine how mentally tired they are, because the season started around February, I think, and it was still winter, it was still cold, the weather was different, the wind was blowing in a different direction, and you've participated in as we mentioned, about 8 track meets now, and you could only wonder all these past few months and all the practices you've had, all the laps you've ran and everything, all the preparedness and just leading up to this point. You're hungry, you're eager, you're excited, you're probably a little nervous, but you're also a little tired.
Yeah, look at Anne-Marie Ebarb.
Yeah.
Just a little while ago, she ran at 800. You know, she came in with the best qualifying time. You know, we were talking about, you mentioned cross country. She ran cross country. You know, she's done this for the last 4 years. She's competed at this level all 4 years. And so, how many races has she ran in her career as a high school athlete here at Weslaco High School? So, you know, she's running this last race in district. It's, you know, because she's still got area, regionals, and state to come. But you're absolutely right. Physically, you know, your body's a little beat up. But just look at how determined she was, how hard she held on, and she just finished hard.
And it has to feel special because this is her last. She's a senior, right?
Exactly.
So
that's why I used her as an example.
Yeah, and this is her last meet here in Weslaco because, as you mentioned, the next one's going to be in Harlingen, and after that, it's regionals. San Antonio. So, you know, you always want to, you know, you're always going to remember your last meet here at home, and you want to leave the, you know, as best impression as possible for yourself and for your family and for the fans.
Exactly, because this is going to be the last time they see you on this track at this stadium, as you just mentioned. So yeah, so these are exciting times. Coach Cabrera over there looking at his athletes, making sure that they stay warm. And as we saw Coach Almaguer at the 40 earlier, but Coach Cabrera is down there at the 10-yard line, making sure his athletes are staying loose and warm and mentally prepared for their events that are coming up.
Yeah, and we see a lot of the athletes down there at the south end zone, just kind of hanging around, you know, sitting down, resting,
and waiting for their events to come up. Looks like we're getting really close to getting the 100-meter dash underway. The girls are already beginning to get out there and get their blocks ready. The blocks had already been set out there, but again, each member or each competitor has a certain way that they want them.
And it's optional, right? They have an option of using the blocks or not, correct?
But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think there's going to be anybody that runs the 100 or the 200 that does not use the blocks.
Yeah.
Sometimes the 400 people won't use it, but for the most part, like I said, I don't think I've known of anybody that's run the 100 or the 200 to not use a block.
And it really helps you accelerate, right? When the gun sounds and explodes out.
Yeah, because as you explode out, you stay down. You don't come straight up. Because again, going back to that parachute analogy that we.
And you see that young lady there from Edinburgh North. Yeah, that's an example of that. We see her warming up. How she comes off the block. You see a couple of the PSGA runners there doing the same thing.
So as we get ready for the girls, I know we had already introduced them to you, but we had quite a bit of wait, and you guys may have already forgotten who is competing. Let's go ahead and give you the list of the competitors here in the 31-6A finals of the girls 100-meter dash. In lane 1 of Edinburgh, it's Concepcion Salas. In lane 2 of Edinburgh Economides, Larissa Lopez. In lane 3, Andrea Torres of Weslaco. In lane 4, Melissa Kutzer of Edinburgh North. In lane 5, Michaela Campos of Edinburgh High. In lane 6 from Edinburgh North, it's going to be Emily Hernandez. In lane 7 of PSJA, it'll be Mallory Flores. And also of PSJA, Annalise Ostrolaza. She is in lane 8. So those are the 8 competitors here in the girls 100-meter dash final 31-6A event here. Again, as we mentioned earlier, the record 12:35 set last year by Herminia Corrado. A starter is out there giving them their last-minute instructions.
100-meter dash, girls division. We'll have in lane 1, Concepcion Salas, Edinburgh. Lane 2, Teresa Lopez, Benavides.
Back when you ran track, Joe, did they have those kind of shoes that we see the athletes wear nowadays, or was it more traditional like we see the PSGA runners with the Nikes out there?
Yeah, we had all those. We Asics, Nikes, Adidas were kind of the more popular ones.
Yeah.
I like the Asics for whatever reason. I ran in Mercedes. They were called Tigers, and so we were the Tigers. So that's kind of how I chose my running shoe, just because of the name. Asics were known, like I said, they were known as Tigers, and so we were the Tigers, and that's what I chose.
I remember, Joe, back in the 80s, something that was popular, and I don't know if it still is today, because I only ran track for a few years and when I was a young kid, but the spikes underneath. Is that still a thing in track?
Yeah. And again, the selection of your spikes depends on the turf that you're running on.
Right,
For the most part, it's now all rubberized turf, so you're using usually the 1/4 inch spikes.
Okay.
But again, going back to the 80s, every now and then you would come across a cinder track, so you would use 1/2 inch spikes.
And I would get a kick out of the athletes, because some of my buddies that would use them, the way they would walk to the track, they would have to walk on their heels like this, with their heels going to the track, because you didn't want the spikes to touch the cement.
Right. And we'll get into that in a little bit. The girls are already in their blocks. Again, Melissa Kutzer with the best qualifying time, 12:23 from Edinburgh North in lane 4. And she had a tremendous start and is out in front of everybody. But look at Weslaco's Andrea Torres. Looks like she's going to finish in second. But Kutzer, it was her all the way.
I love the way she exploded off the block there with her head down, and she just ran hard, and she dominated the whole race. But you mentioned, Joe, Torres out of Weslaco, a tremendous job as well. She'll get the silver to advance.
But what a run by Kutzer. She was just out of those blocks like nobody's business and just held on to that lead. Nobody was going to catch her. You were talking about the spikes. Yeah, because here we go with the run again. There's Kutzer. Look at the way she just looks down and then finally comes up after about 15 meters. But by then she was already out in front of everybody. But it was Andrea Torres of Weslaco finishing strong as well. Looks like she was going to finish with the silver. And of course, in third place, it looked from where we're standing, it was Michaela Campos of Edinburgh. But again, hats off to Kutzer, as she looks like she finished gold, and she just gave us a good smile and a wave as she knows she was on camera. The boys are next, so let's go ahead and give you the rundown of the competitors here. It is going to be in lane 1 from PSJA, Devin Hernandez. In lane 2 from La Jolla, Miguel Ornelas. In lane 3, Giovanni Villasana of Edinburgh. In lane 4, Andres Valdez of Weslaco. In lane 5, Saul Ramirez, also of Weslaco. In lane 6, Ramsey Arroyo of PSJA. Oscar Hasso of Edinburgh is in lane 7, and Dante Perez of La Jolla is in lane 8. Rey Carrizales has the record set back in 1991, 10.74. It's going to be Andres Valdez with a qualifying time of 10.77. He's followed by Saul Ramirez, 10.97. But the name that I want to mention here is the name of Miguel Ornelas, because he ran on spectacular anchor leg in that 4x100 meter relay.
Yeah, that was like the second race of the afternoon there. That was he was the anchor, as you mentioned, and the way he exploded and the way he finished, that was a sight to see.
And he is in lane 2, so keep an eye out for him. Andres Valdez, Saul Ramirez in lanes 4 and 5, and it's going to be Miguel Ornelas in lane 2. So again, Weslaco with 2 great competitors here in this one. A good, clean start. Valdez and Ramirez neck and neck. Ramirez beginning to step away. Ramirez is in second. Andres Valdez is going to finish with the gold. And it's Valdez and Ramirez, Weslaco first and second.
And with that being said, Joe, those two guys are going to help Weslaco rack up some more points and really help them in the standings there. But great job, Weslaco, first and second place. And both the young men really were going at it next to each other, friendly competition. And if anything, Joe, they probably just motivate each other and help each other. And it only helps them finish at a higher, better standing.
Yeah, it does. And you were talking about, here we go. We see Valdez with a great start. Saul Ramirez was right on his shoulders, but Valdez just too strong as he just runs away with this one.
Just the way he was moving his legs is quite impressive. His hands and his legs, his arms and his legs. It was phenomenal to watch.
We were talking about the spikes earlier. One of the things that they really tried to keep you from doing was exactly that, keeping them off the concrete because of shin splints. Development of shin splints. One of the things, I never walked around with them unless I was inside the track. I always carry mine around. And,
there you go. That's another way you can go about it.
Yeah, I would carry mine around, and then of course, one of the things that they never let us do was walk outside without our warm-ups on. So we always had to have our warm-ups.
So how did you walk around if the cement was hot?
No. With regular shoes.
You would
I would
so
carry my
take 'em up.
spikes.
Gotcha.
And so where I was going was we always had our warm-ups on because they would not let us walk around without our warm-ups on. And so wherever we put our warm-ups, I would put my shoes there. Then I put on my spikes. But yeah, that was one of the reasons people would do that. But I would never walk around with them on. So, so we have had the 100-meter dash, and now we go over to the 4x200-meter relay, and it looks like we've got another lull in the action. I'm not sure how many minutes because I didn't hear the public address announcer mention it, but they don't have anybody on the track just yet. But I know you've got some results you want to share with us, Mike.
Yes, I have the results of the girls 100-meter dash. In fourth place was Emily Hernandez out of Edinburgh North. Third place was Michaela Campos out of Edinburgh High School. Second place was Andrea Torres out of Weslaco High School. And your first place winner with a time of 12:52, so it's not a district record, but nevertheless a first place finish by Melissa Kotzer out of Edinburgh North. And after 11 events, we have Edinburgh High School in first place with 83 points. Right behind them, Joe, is Weslaco High School with 82. And in third place right now, it's Edinburgh North with 78 points. Fourth place is PSJA with 59.
Yeah, well, we had Torres pile up some points there. Of course, we had the relay as well, but Amory Ebar with that first place finish really helped out as well.
Absolutely. And now I have the boys 100-meter dash results. In fourth place was Devin Hernandez out of PSJA. Third place is Miguel Ornelas out of La Jolla. That's the young man we were talking about. And second place was Saul Ramirez out of Weslaco. And your first place winner with a time of 10:84 is Andres Valdez out of Weslaco High School. And right now we have Weslaco in first place with 104 points. In second place, a distant second place, is Edinburgh High School with 59. PSJA in third place with 58. Fourth place is Edinburgh North with 56.50. So Weslaco High School is rolling along here in the district meet.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, Mike, they were already very close to the top as we come into the running events. And as we were looking at the competition for this evening, going over the notes and stuff, we were talking about just how many competitors they had in each event in the finals. And again, as we had that downtime a little while ago, we were talking about some of those, and as you mentioned earlier, the name Andres Valdez, he came in with the best time in the 100, and he just showed us why. He also comes in with the best time in the 200, and the guy that finished second in the 100, Saul Ramirez, is also got the second best time in the 200. So that's another chance to rack up even more points.
Yeah, Saul Ramirez is a special athlete, and that's a name that we mentioned before that we're going to say it during football season. He is a phenomenal athlete, but that shows you how talented Andres Valdez is as well.
Right. Yeah, and the 200 is piquing my ears only because I know how well Ramirez runs a 400. So how good he's going to look in the 200, because again, the 100 and the 200 are two different races. The 400 is a different race. So you've got, I'm going to say this, you've got a guy with speed like Ramirez, but also with endurance because of the 400. The speedster is Andres Valdez, but
Right.
can he sustain that speed long enough in the
Right.
200
Right.
where we know Ramirez can?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
like I said, that's the one that I've got my eye on.
Right. Oh, and it's going to be exciting. It is going to be an exciting one to watch. But yeah, that's an excellent point right there about how Saul is that long distance runner, especially in the 400, and the 200. And Andres is more of a just the 100, just
Yeah, we saw
from
that.
here to there.
Yeah.
So
But he's also got some endurance because he comes in with the best time so far in the 200. So I'm not discounting him at all.
Right.
Like I said, it just piques my interest to see that event.
Yeah.
See them run against each other because I don't think I've seen them run against each other in the 200 this year.
First call boys.
Because we've seen Ramirez more in the relays, especially the 4x4 and the open 400, and so yeah. But we knew Andres Valdez has some burnings. He's got quite a few years. He may have like 8.
yeah. The cool thing, Joe, about hosting a track meet like the district meet is we have these out of town districts that visit our facility and they see the scoreboard we have, and then they look at themselves, and then they find our camera, and then once they find it, they kind of give you the hi mom pose, and then they kind of do that, the symbol that their school has. In this case, it's La Jolla, doing the little coyote symbol there. But for them, Joe, this is big.
Yeah.
Because they don't have this kind of exposure, in other districts. But once they visit our facility and once they participate in our meets, it's very exciting for them. It's big.
Well, next event is the girls 4x200 meter relay, and in lane 2 it'll be Weslaco, in lane 3 PSJA, lane 4 Edinburgh North, lane 5 Edinburgh High, lane 6 La Jolla, in lane 7 Edinburgh Economides, Weslaco, Andrea Torres, Gabby Jackson, Alessandra Torres, and Madison Reyes, PSJA, Juliana Guajardo, Annalise Ostrolaza, Aubrey Garza, and Mallory Flores, Edinburgh North, Melissa Kutzer, Amory Williams, Michaeli Moreno, and Emily Hernandez, Edinburgh, Yuridia Perez Duran, Bianca Garcia, Michaela Campos, and Itzel Peña. La Jolla will have Victoria Gonzalez, Montserrat Ayala, Rosales Areli, and Samantha Zamora. And Edinburgh Economy is going to have Emily Bounds, Gabriela Maldonado, Marali Ortiz, and Larissa Lopez. The record for the 6A competition is 145.40 set in 2015 by Weslaco. It was Cardenas, Arndt, Sauceda, and Hernandez. And the best qualifying time is already better than that. That's Edinburgh North at 144. Also Edinburgh High, also at 144. And PHA at 148. And La Jolla at 148. So this is setting itself up for a very interesting matchup.
Well, you look at the preliminary times on 2 of them. They're on pace to break that record, Joe.
They're already better.
Yeah, they're already better. And golly, 2015, and I'm looking at the names there from Weslaco, like, can you believe that was 10 years ago? Like, my goodness, time flies.
Yeah.
Second exchange into your area will be the furthest color behind. Jump back. Go. We need to have 4 judges in station 1.
Okay, they're making some calls to the track. I can't hear the public address announcer. It looks like they're wanting to get the athletes going already. But again, we got the 4x200 meter relay, and as you were mentioning, Mike, 2 of the times are already better than the original record. But again, they'll be riding with the wind on the backside, but on this side right in front of us they'll be going against the wind, so that's going to be difficult to break that record or come close to what they're normally been running.
And do coaches consider that as well, as far as strategy, as far as maybe moving some of the athletes around, like, this athlete would probably run better against the wind versus with the wind?
That would depend on each athlete, but as I'm looking at this, because I haven't seen any previous assignments as far as like what order they had them in, but you look at the first leg for Edinburgh North, Melissa Kutzer, she just won the 100, and I'm not sure if she's running the 200, but you know, we know she's got some wheels. She is not competing in the 200.
And for Weslaco, I see Gabby Jackson.
Oh, she is competing in the 200.
And we see a Gabby Jackson out of Weslaco. We saw her run earlier.
Right.
And she'll be the second one.
And we also saw Andrea Torres. She finished second in the 100.
We're missing 2. Now.
So Gabby will have the benefit of running with the wind. Correct? Going.
No. The second one is coming back this way against the wind.
Okay.
Because they're running 200 meters each.
Okay.
So
yeah.
curb in a straightaway, curb straightaway, curb straightaway.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So yeah, so it's going to be interesting, you know, how this plays itself out again. You know, as we've been talking about, you know, the wind is pretty strong, and so they're all going to have to come up running against the wind on this side, and so. You know, you're talking about the mental aspect of this. Is that going to mess with their mind, having to run into the wind, especially after having sprinted 100 meters in the curb and then come right into the wind? You know, is that going to play games with their mind?
Yeah, I think the curve is where it's really playing games with you, right? Because at least running from the south to the north, you know what you're going to have. You're going to be running with the wind, and running from the north to the south, you'll be going against the wind. But on those curves is where it's really going to throw you off a little bit. And then, as it is, Joe, you're running on a curve, so it's a little tricky.
Yeah. So is it gonna mess with their heads as you know? And then again, what if all of a sudden you get a little gust?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point right there, because you could be running where there's very little to no wind or some wind, and then all of a sudden, boom, this howl of wind comes right at you and kind of throws you off a little bit.
Yeah, because we've had those before, you know, where all of a sudden, you know, like I said, it's 23 miles an hour according to the weathercast. But then let's say you get a little gust at about 30 miles an hour,
yeah,
you know, for 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's like when you're playing golf. I don't play much golf, but in looking at it, I know sometimes when they hit the ball, it's like, do I hit it now or do I wait? Or, you know, because you're playing with the wind. The wind plays a major factor when you're playing golf, depending on where you're at as well. But yeah, you know, you could hit a ball a certain way, but then the wind will carry it somewhere else. So yeah, it's kind of, you know, sports is a little funny sometimes.
Yeah, it does, especially here in South Texas. As you mentioned, you know, we don't have these winds this late in the year, but again, as we mentioned earlier, we got that cold front knocking at our door, coming in sometime tomorrow. I don't remember the timing of it, but it's windy here tonight. And now the girls are making their way to the track again in lane 2, Weslaco in lane 3, PSJA, lane 4, Edinburgh North. Lane 5, it's Edinburgh High. Lane 6, La Jolla. And in lane 7, Edinburgh Economides. So we are getting ready for the girls 4x200 meter relay.
A cold front in April, Joe? Like, does that make sense here in the Rio Grande Valley?
You do get some that straggle kind of late. They're not that cold.
Right.
Like you know, the temperatures aren't supposed to get too cold. It's going to be cooler.
Well, and at nighttime, I think it's going to be in the 50s.
50s, right. Yeah.
For us, that's kind of chilly.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, that's heavy sweater weather.
But the days are going to be beautiful.
Yeah, the days
74, 75 degrees.
Right, exactly,
oh, my goodness. Yeah. We better enjoy it.
Right, because after that, we're going to probably hit the triple digits pretty quick, because the last 2 days, it's been 97 degrees.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And we're April. Just wait till July.
Oh, my goodness. Don't remind me.
What do they call that? La canicula? The dog days of summer.
Yes. Oh, July and August here in the valley.
But we love it, because that means that we're right knocking on the door of football season.
That is true. That is a good point right there. But I was just going to say, the only way I love it in July and August and down here is if we're at the beach.
Yeah. So the girls 4x200 meter relay, they are on the track ready to get going. The starter has already called them to the blocks. And he's making his way to his stand.
I think I heard somebody say it right now, 2 minutes till race time.
Oh, is that what he said?
I heard somebody say it.
Well, the starter had a microphone. Yeah, right there. Yeah, I saw him walking around because you said you heard something, and he was the one that was speaking.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's holding there, a microphone.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
letting the runners know. And you see them, they're trying to stay loose. I mean, they're so eager and they're ready to get this thing going. Now everybody's trying to stay loose.
Well, he's sending them to the blocks.
Okay.
So here we go, just moments away from getting this one underway. The girls 4x200 meter relay. Again, the two top qualifying times are Edinburgh North and Edinburgh High in lanes 4 and in lanes 5. 1:44 both teams have coming into tonight's final. And it's a good, clean start. The girls 4x2, and look at Kutzer out from Edinburgh North. She is already made up the stagger on Edinburgh High, and it is Edinburgh North out in front. And again, as we mentioned, here comes the leg where they come into the wind. And it is going to be for Edinburgh North, Amory Williams running the second leg. So she is out in front, holding on to that lead. Williams. Here comes Edinburgh. Look at the young lady from Edinburgh High, Mike. It is Bianca Garcia making up all kinds of space. She's already overtaken La Jolla.
And yeah, it looks like she's running out of gas.
Yeah. But she gave it her all, and it was already catching up to Edinburgh North.
And it looked like La Jolla was having a little bit of issues with the exchange there.
Yes, they did a little bit. But again, it's Edinburgh North, and the third leg for Edinburgh North is McKaylee Moreno. She'll hand it off to Hernandez. Weslaco High in the second lane should be like in third place. And here comes Edinburgh North. That is going to be Emily Hernandez, and looks like Edinburgh North will finish first, followed by Edinburgh High, and then Weslaco looks to be in third place. Madison Reyes is the anchor leg.
Well, she's trying to make a move right now for second.
Here comes Madison Reyes. Might finish in second, as you mentioned, Mike. She is really running strong. Can she overcome the deficit?
Oh, it's going to be close, Joe.
It's going to be close. It is going to be close. Edinburgh and Weslaco second and third, but it is a no-doubter for Edinburgh North. They started off really strong. Melissa Kutzer gave them some cushion, and the following three girls did not give it up. They just kept that lead and finished strong. They'll finish with the gold. And as we mentioned, Edinburgh and Weslaco, that was a photo finish for second and third. But what a good run there by the anchor leg for Weslaco, Madison Reyes.
I mean, look at her as we look at the last 100 meters or so, and it looks like she was going to make a move right here. She caught up, and it was neck and neck. And as you mentioned, Joe, no doubt Edinburgh North winning this race in lane number 4. But yeah, as we look at it here,
Edinburgh High, maybe by a step,
by a fraction or by a step, yeah, by a hair or by an arm or something.
I was looking at their legs where they were falling on the spots on the track.
And I was looking to see if one of them would put their head down. I know that's something that we talked about in the past, but when you get to that finish line, maybe putting your head down and.
Yeah, because the 200 meter is not an easy event, Mike. As I was mentioning earlier, you know, when we were using the comparison of the 100, 200, 400, that one's just right there in the middle, and you know, Reyes, you know, looked like she was catching up, but you know, she may just not have had enough in the tank because she may have burned, as we like to say, all her matches in the first 100 meters.
Yeah. So this is the results of the girls 4x200 meter relay. In fourth place was La Jolla, and in third place is Weslaco with a time of 1:47.31, and in second place with a time of 1:47.20 was Edinburgh High School, and your first place winner, the time of 1:44.47, and it looks like that's going to be a new meet record, Joe, is Edinburgh High School. So congratulations to that bunch.
Edinburgh North.
To Edinburgh North. Yeah, as far as the team rankings, this is where they stand right now. In first place is Edinburgh High School with 99 points. Second place, Joe, check this out, is Edinburgh North High School, 98 points. Third place is Weslaco, 94 points. Those three teams are neck and neck, Joe. This is going to come down to the last race, it looks like. And then fourth place is PSGA. They're a little far behind now with 61. So it looks like it's going to come down to Edinburgh North, or Weslaco for the district championship.
So now it is the boys 4x200 meter relay. Lane 2, Edinburgh. Lane 3, Edinburgh North. Lane 4, PSJA. Lane 5, Weslaco. Lane 6, La Jolla. Lane 7, Edinburgh Economides. Edinburgh High will have Tyler Galvan, Woodrow Villarreal, Jesus Quintanilla, and Giovanni Villasana. Edinburgh North, Patricio Atilano, Ivan Cano, Eric Gonzalez, and Mario Salinas. PSJA, Alexander Flores, Riley Limon, Gael Zambrano, and Jonathan Sauceda. In lane 5, Weslaco High, Nathan Diaz, Andres Mandujano, Anthony Martinez, and Bo Cuellar. La Jolla will have Luis Argona, Caleb Moreno, Dante Perez, and Miguel Ornelas. Lane 7, it is Edinburgh Economides with Derek Cantu, Joseph Cortinas, Prudencio Cantu, and Diego Cantu. The record, 129.18, Edinburgh North back in 2022. And the best qualifying time coming into tonight's race is held by PSJA, 131.38. But they've got Weslaco right on their outside and right on their inside, Edinburgh North within a second of their qualifying times.
So this is an important race for PSJA because coming into the afternoon, it was PSJA in second place, pretty big distance. And I think the last time we reported, Weslaco High had a big margin. So if PSJA wants some kind of chance, they got to really do well in this race.
Yeah, that and if Weslaco finishes really close, second or third.
Right.
And again, we're just saying if PSJ finishes first,
correct.
The point spread won't be that big.
Correct. Hypothetically. But yeah, Weslaco, we need to finish kind of in the bottom.
Right, exactly. So it's a good, clean start. And for Weslaco, it's Nathan Diaz. And he is looking strong as he gets ready to hand it off to Andres Mandujano. And that's a good exchange.
Yeah.
And it looks like they got it out first, Mike. They are already making up the stagger out there on the outside. PSJA on their inside looks to be falling behind. But look at the legs of Mandujano. He's made up the stagger on La Jolla and almost on Economides. And the third leg for your Panthers is Anthony Martinez. And again, it's a good, clean handoff. And right now, Mike, it is Weslaco out in front, followed by PSJA, then Edinburgh North.
I was actually a little concerned on that exchange because it looked like he was kind of slowing down. But once that exchange took place, he just took off and exploded.
And they're going to give it off to Bo Cuellar to finish this one. There it is.
Yeah,
Bo has it. And it's Weslaco in first. Edinburgh North is beginning to make a move on the inside. That is Mario Salinas. Can Bo Cuellar hold him off? Bo Cuellar running the race of his lifetime. And it is Edinburgh North. Mario Salinas trying to muster whatever he's got. And it is Weslaco, Edinburgh North, PSJA, at least from what I'm looking at. But again, a really good race.
What a race this was, Joe. Wow. We had three competitors that it came down to the end, but it looks like Weslaco High hung up. But I got a little nervous, Joe, because that last exchange wasn't the prettiest. It wasn't the cleanest. But Bo Cuellar, was able to hold off the runner.
Looked like they finished first, followed by Edinburgh North and then PSJA. But Salinas from Edinburgh North, he looked very impressive.
Man, look at his determination there. Another thing, Joe, is that you got to stay in your lane there.
Right.
You see him kind of getting close toward that white line, but look at him just trying his best. Wow. You know what, Joe? I mean, if you're gonna finish with a silver medal, that's how you want to finish, just like he did.
Giving it all
you got. If you lose your balance, you fall down. It don't matter. It's all about leaving it on the track.
There is one of the Weslaco teammates congratulating Bo on a great finish there. You know, it was all laying on his shoulders because they were out in front. It was a good race there by Weslaco. You know, Nathan Diaz ran a great leg, as did Andres Mandujano, and of course Anthony Martinez, the third leg, giving it to Bo Cuellar in first place, and Bo Cuellar hanging on for dear life to stay and give the Panthers, at least from what we could tell, a gold medal in the 4x200 meter relay.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking down here in the press box waiting for Julio to hand me the results. I want to see the results of that race.
The next race is going to be the 400-meter dash. It'll be the girls, followed by the boys. And it looks like we are going to have a little bit of a wait because they're not even putting them on the track just yet. So again, you know, they are going by times. We don't have the exact timing of the track meet on our sheet to have an idea of what we're looking at as far as wait time. And so we'll just continue to bring you information as we go along. We were talking about the standings a little while ago and how Edinburgh North and La Jolla needed to do well, which they did, but Weslaco looks like they may have finished first. And so without any wait, let me give you the drum roll, Mike.
The results of the boys 4x200 meter relay. In fourth place was Edinburgh High School. Third place is La Jolla High School. And second place with a time of 1:32.76 is PSJA High. And your first place winner with a time of 1:32.58 was Weslaco High School.
So PSJA beat Edinburgh North at the finish. Okay.
Yes.
So that young man from PSJA, Jonathan Sauceda, came up and overcame Edinburgh North's Mario Salinas.
And as far as the team rankings are concerned, is we have Weslaco with 124 points. In second place is PSJ High with 74 points. Third place is Edinburgh High School with 67. Fourth place is La Jolla with 61.50. So Weslaco still comfortably ahead with 50 points ahead of PSJA for first place.
So, but what a race, what a race, what a race. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it was a great race by everybody involved.
So they have just sent me the official timings for each event, and the next event will start at 7:25, Mike. Okay. So Edinburgh North got DQ'd. So there may have been, I'm not sure because they didn't give us the exact results. So that's why you didn't call their name.
Yes. I was kind of looking, I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, where is Edinburgh North? And then when I looked down, I saw they got a DQ, so I wonder what happened there.
There's no telling. It could have been in the exchange. They may have gone beyond the exchange route allotted that you're given, the time frame, or was it that the young man at the end may have fallen down into the next lane? You know,
that was something that we were talking about.
Right, you had mentioned that. That's why it came to my mind.
Yeah.
Because you had mentioned that staying in your lane.
Right.
And so, again, it could be a lot of factors. We don't have the exact final say as to why they don't give that. And, again, you know, we can only speculate.
Like, let's say you have your legs may still be in your lane, but what if your arm goes to the other lane? Does that matter? Does not matter. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious about that.
Yeah, it could have been a faulty exchange somewhere again, you know, because a lot of times that's what DQs you, is that you went beyond the exchange zone.
See, but that tells you how close the ending was, because, you know, Weslaco's 132.58, and then they have PSJA next at 132.76. So Edinburgh North, if it would have counted, it probably was at what do you think, like at 132.60 some maybe?
Yeah, it would have been like, you know, depending on if they finished second or third, you know,
132.60, 65.
Yeah, it could have been either 60 or 80. You know, because I don't know if they finished in here or in here, because it was really close.
Yeah, it was very, very close.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'm confident that Edinburgh North
was second. Yeah, it looked like that.
Yeah.
From where we're at, that's what it looked like.
Right. So, I mean, unless we get an explanation from somebody, we don't know exactly why Edinburgh North was disqualified.
Well, as you give more results from our field events, let me see if I can track that down for us.
Sure, I can do that. Joe. I do have the results of the field events that took place earlier. We'll start off with the girls discus throw. In fourth place was Catherine Herrera out of PSJA High. Remember, the top 4 advanced to area. So we start off with, again, Catherine Herrera out of PSJA. In third place was Jada Flowers out of La Jolla High School. In second place was Jocelyn Quintanilla out of Edinburgh North. And your first place winner with a throw of 123.03 was Nia Sanders out of PSJA High. On the boys' side, we got fourth place Donnie Nunez out of Edinburgh Economides. In third place was Humberto Gonzalez out of La Jolla. In second place was Aiden Gonzalez out of La Jolla. And your first place winner with a throw of 151.09 was Pete Cantu out of Weslaco. You remember him with the Weslaco Panther basketball team. So nice job there by Pete Cantu getting the gold.
Yeah, he just played in the All-Star game of the basketball because he's a senior.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the girls' high jump. In fourth place was Mia Gonzalez out of Edinburgh High School. You remember her, Joe, with the hurdles. Third place was Debani Trejo out of Edinburgh Economides. Second place was Juliana Guajardo out of PSJA. And your first place winner with a jump of 4 feet 10 is Michaela Olvera out of Edinburgh High School. On the boys' side, we have in fourth place Jeremiah Castillo out of Weslaco. Third place was Edgar Perales out of Edinburgh. Second place was Enrique Leal out of Edinburgh North. And your first place winner with a jump of a 5'10" is Armando Davila out of PSJA High School. And we move on to the girls' long jump. In fourth place was Yaira Oliver out of Weslaco High School. In third place was Aubrey Garza out of PSJA High. Second place was Sadie Romero out of Weslaco High School. And your first place winner with a jump of 16.02 was Melissa Kutzer out of Edinburgh North. And on the boys' side, in fourth place was Alexander Flores out of PSJA High. In third place was Bo Cuellar out of Weslaco. Second place was Axel Navarro out of Edinburgh. And your first place winner with a jump of 19.09.50 was Seth Moya out of Weslaco High School. And do we have time, Joe, for one more?
Let's go ahead and give you the breakdown of the competitors because they're already coming onto the track. And so it'll be the girls 400-meter dash up next. And in lane 1, it'll be Mia Lamas of PSJA. In lane 2, Diamond Molina of Edinburgh North. In lane 3, Michaela Moreno of Edinburgh North. In lane 4, Sadie Romero of Weslaco. In lane 5, Jenna Peña of Weslaco. In lane 6, Aideen Guerrero of Edinburgh North. In lane 7, Cristina Herrera of Edinburgh Economides. And in lane 8, Elora de la Cerda of PSJA. The record for the 6A district is 56.64, set in 1996 by Shelley Duffy. The best qualifying time for this race is Sadie Romero with a 1-minute flat, followed by Jenna Peña and Michaela Moreno at 62 seconds apiece. So a great job here by the Weslaco girls coming in with a good times at lanes 4 and 5. So again, a chance for some more points here for the Weslaco girls, but also Jenna Peña, who's already qualified for area in the 800, another chance for her to go in 2 events to the area round, and Sadie Romero as well. You know, Sadie was also part of that relay team. So the girls 400-meter dash is next.
So, Joe, I'm told that the actual district record is held by our very own Amity Ebarb.
Yeah, I was wondering because I saw that on that's what they had given to us. But
right.
we have now gotten the correction.
Yeah, it was set in 2019 by Amity Ebarb, and the time is 56:17. So she broke that record about 6 years ago now. So we appreciate the notification.
So again, the actual record is held by our very own, as Mike just mentioned and told us, Amity Ebarb. We mentioned her earlier as she was here for the Meet of Champs, and of course her little sister is now the gold medal winner of the 800 meter, as she is now going to the area round.
So I wonder if Amity's watching right now, and if hearing us giving the other name was like, wait a minute here, I broke that record 6 years ago.
I don't have any messages, so who knows?
So we apologize, Amity, if you're watching us, and, but at least we got it right.
Yeah, because I know we're connected, Amity and myself, on social media, so she has not inboxed me.
Because maybe she blocked you. She deleted you.
She might have. I'm done with that guy. He messes up on the records all the time. So yeah. But again, thank you for that, Coach, for letting us know that. Again, it is the girls next. They are on the track, ready to get going. I don't see anybody out in lanes 7 and 8, Mike. The whistle is blown, so they got to get to their spots now. But again, I see lanes 7 and 8 empty right now. So they may have scratched for whatever reason. You know, we hate to see.
We hope everything's okay.
Right, we hate to see injuries this late in the season.
Absolutely.
Because as you have mentioned quite a few times, this is what you work for. This is where you work for.
Yeah, this is district. I mean, there's no other meet after this other than area.
But you got to qualify.
But you got to qualify.
So here we go. The girls 400 meter dash. Girls are on their blocks. They are set. And the gun is off, and it is a good, clean start. We've got Romero in lane 4, Peña in lane 5. But look at Romero, Mike. She is already out in front of everybody, and she is setting the pace. It is Romero out in front, Peña in second as they approach the 200 meter mark. Good, strong running from Sadie Romero, Weslaco's very own. Jenna Peña in lane 5, hanging on to second place. But you got a pair of runners in Molina and Moreno from Edinburgh North in lanes 2 and 3, making a charge as we come down the home stretch.
This is going to be crucial, Joe.
It is Romero in front. And look at Peña. She is beginning to turn the jets on because she's not going to be denied second place.
This is going to help Weslaco, Joe, in the standings.
And it's going to be Moreno in third from Edinburgh North. But what a good run by Weslaco, Sadie Romero, and Jenna Peña to finish first and second.
Absolutely. And this is one of the adjustments Coach Almaguer made in moving Sadie Romero from the 100 meters to the 400 meters. He felt like this was the event that she'll really excel in. As a matter of fact, she's going to run at Our Lady of the Lake. And Coach Almaguer said this was the event that Our Lady of the Lake was impressed with, and so it really paid off here, and a great run by Sadie Romero. But to me, in my mind, Joe, more importantly is Peña coming in second place. That's only going to help Weslaco in the team rankings.
Yeah, that is for certain. But she was able to really step it up on the backstretch.
Like what, the last 200 meters, right?
Yeah, the girls from Edinburgh North were beginning to make a move on her. But as soon as she hit that 100-meter mark, it just seemed like she knew that they were on her heel, and she just turned it up one more notch to begin to extend herself and finish in second convincingly. So we will now head to the boys division, and it'll be Rosbel Mendoza of La Jolla in lane 1, Isaiah Cisneros of Edinburgh in lane 2, David de la Garza, also of Edinburgh, he's going to be in lane 3, Saul Ramirez of Weslaco will be in lane 4, Samuel Peña of PHA is in lane 5, Richard Molina of Edinburgh North in lane 6, also of Edinburgh North is Diego Torres, who is in lane 7, and in lane 8 is going to be Jorge Rangel of Weslaco High. Louis Ontiveros, a name that we remember back in 1998, set the record at 48.84. We've seen Saul run some pretty good races, sub 50 runs that he has had, and we will see if there's a chance for him to come close, if not even break that record. We have just been handed the official records of the 31-6A boys division because there were some mistakes in the printing or the printing of the events that we have here tonight. So we appreciate that. So again, the boys are on the track. Mendoza lane 1, Cisneros lane 2, De La Garza lane 3, Ramirez lane 4, Peña lane 5, Molina lane 6, Torres lane 7, and Rangel in lane 8. Weslaco with 2 participants here. Saul Ramirez comes in with the best qualifying time at 50.91.
This is where we saw Saul, do very well in the Jimmy Platt in the Meet of Champions.
And they're off. It's a good, clean start. Ramirez has already made up the stagger, and they haven't even gotten to the first 100 meters on the guy on his right, which is Moreno of La Jolla. And he's already surpassed everybody. He's passed everybody out on the outside lanes. He is out in front, Mike. He is really making a name for himself in this 400-meter event. It is Ramirez in front, and it's anybody's game for second place. Here comes Ramirez on the back stretch. He has now hit the 100-meter mark, and he is going into the wind, and he can feel it. But he is not going to let that deter him. He is going to finish first, and it looks like the young man from PSJA is going to finish second. Or the gentleman from Edinburgh.
Yeah, PSJ looks like finished third.
Yeah, he looked like he fell a little behind, but looked like Edinburgh, Mike, finished second.
It can get a little confusing because they're wearing the white shirts, the white tops, and it's kind of hard to see the middle, so it could be either Edinburgh or PSJ.
Well, the one thing that's not confusing is who got first.
Exactly. I mean, clearly we saw who the best runner is or was, and you see Saul there. What a perfect race he ran. Just an outstanding job. As you mentioned, Joe, setting the tempo early on, making up the stagger, not even 100 meters into the race, and just dominated the whole event. It's an outstanding job in capturing the gold in the 400.
So good job there by Ramirez, and it looked like De La Garza, as you mentioned, Mike, finished second, and Peña from PSJA finished third, at least from what we could tell from up here. So good run there by those young men, and now it'll be the girls' 300-meter hurdle, so they got to put the hurdles out. So we've got a little bit of time. I know you've got some more field event results that we could go through right now.
Yeah, we will continue with the field events with the girls' pole vault. We'll start with the girls' pole vault. In fourth place was Alexandra Santos out of La Jolla. Third place was Montserrat Ayala out of La Jolla. Second place was Elora de la Cerda out of PSJ High. And your first place winner is Eva Castillo with a jump of 9:06, 9 feet 6 inches. Am I reading it right, Joe? Is 9 feet 6 inches, right?
Yes.
9-6. Here we go. Okay, so congratulations to Eva Castillo out of PSJ High. On the boys' side, fourth place was Julio Briones out of PSJ High. Second place is, third place is Seth Moya out of Weslaco High School. Second place is Esteban Rocha out of Weslaco High School. And your first place winner with a jump of 12 feet flat is Joshua Hernandez out of PSJ High. We move on to the girls' shot put. Fourth place was Jada Flowers out of La Jolla. Third place was Jacqueline Garcia out of La Jolla. Second place is Jocelyn Quintanilla out of Edinburgh North. And your first place winner with a throw of a 35.11 is Saari Alonso out of Weslaco High School. On the boys' side,
Girls Division 200.
On the boys' side, shot put, fourth place was Ernesto Trevino out of Edinburgh Economides. Third place was Isaac Segura out of La Jolla. Second place is once again Joe Picantu out of Weslaco High School. And your first place winner with a throw of 50 flat was Donnie Nunez out of Edinburgh Economides. And we move on to the girls' triple jump. In fourth place was Yaira Oliver out of Weslaco. Third place was Larissa Lopez out of Edinburgh Economides. Second place was Sadie Romero out of Weslaco High School. Wow, busy day for Sadie.
Sadie, yeah, exactly.
Your first place winner with a jump of a 34.08.50 is Melissa Kutzer out of Edinburgh North High School. We move on to the boys' triple jump. Fourth place was Sebastian Franco out of Edinburgh High School. Third place is Riley Limon out of PSJ High. Second place is Emmanuel Rodriguez out of Edinburgh Economides. And your first place winner with a jump of 42.02 is Jose Ramirez out of Edinburgh North High School.
Nice. So it looks like the girls' 300-meter hurdle event is about to get underway. They've got the hurdles already on the track, and the girls are getting out there, setting up their blocks. So let's go ahead and give you the competitors in the girls' 300-meter hurdles. In lane 1 from PSJA, Mary Jane Coca. In lane 2, Edinburgh North, Allison Andrade. In lane 3, Edinburgh's Melanie Ramos. In lane 4 from Edinburgh North, it'll be Kaylee Andrade. In lane 5 from Edinburgh, it'll be Mia Gonzalez. In lane 6, Zoe Daniel of Edinburgh North. In lane 7, Jaylyn Garcia from Weslaco. And Devany Garza is in lane 8, and she is of La Jolla. Again, Leah Brown with the district record, 44.54. And the best qualifying time coming into the event is Kaylee Andrade from Edinburgh North.
After the race, we'll put him up to the 36-inch high.
So a lot of Edinburghs in there right in the middle.
Yes.
Edinburgh High and Edinburgh North.
Right. Weslaco does have one in Jaylyn Garcia.
After the 300-meter.
So this is going to be a good race there. As we mentioned, we got a couple of girls from Edinburgh, and of course the one top runner as far as this event is concerned, Edinburgh North, Kaylee Andrade. But Melanie Ramos and Mia Gonzalez, both of Edinburgh, with within half a second of her, at least the qualifying time.
2 points separate first from second. Weslaco 112, Edinburgh North 110. Edinburgh with 99. This is the girls' division.
So it looks like Weslaco girls have now surpassed and are in first place from what the public address announcer just mentioned by 2 points.
Yeah, I was actually trying to look for the results here because I read them out loud and then I just kind of put them away.
So we'll just wait for the 400, next one, the 400-meter dash results.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah,
and we'll update that. But as I was going through my list here, I could hear the public address announcer.
Found it, Joe.
You found it?
Yes. Right now, as we speak, we have Weslaco with 112 points, Edinburgh North with 110, and Edinburgh High School with 99.
All right, girls are on their blocks already, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, Mike. But good job there, letting us know the official, because I thought I heard that. And the girls are on their way. Kaylee Andrade in lane 4, looking very strong, and it is going to be the young ladies from Edinburgh North on her outside. And in lane 3, it is Melanie Ramos of Edinburgh looking really strong here. And in lane 4, it is Kaylee Andrade overtaking first place, and she is going to finish first, barring any miscues here as we finish the last 40 meters. So here comes Kaylee Andrade. She is over the last hurdle first, but did she finish? Because on her outside, Mia Gonzalez may have got her at the lean.
Oh my goodness. That's going to be crucial right there, Joe, especially on the team standings if she was able to finish in first place. That's
Melanie Ramos of Edinburgh, she hit that last hurdle, which may have cost her, first or second, because these three ladies here, Edinburgh North in lane 4, Kaylee Andrade, really trying to hang on, but on her outside shoulder, it was Mia Gonzalez, and on her inside shoulder was Melanie Ramos. And you can see them all really striving to finish. And that is where, right there, Ramos, like I said, but it looked like it was, at the end, Mia Gonzalez overtaking her.
Wow. So what a finish for her, that's for sure.
Mia Gonzalez in first, Kaylee Andrade in second. That's what we could see from up here, and we'll let you know with the finals. But as we were talking about, Mike, right now, the after the girls 400, that was huge because you had Sadie Romero finishing first, Jenna Peña finishing second, and that's a lot of points right there.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, Joe, I'll read out the results of that race. Fourth place was Diamond Molina out of Edinburgh North, and in third place was Michaeli Moreno out of Edinburgh North. And as you mentioned, Joe, Jenna Peña finishing a strong second place for Weslaco High School, and your first place winner was a Sadie Romero, and her time was 59.76. So what an outstanding race that she had.
Sub-minute.
Yeah, sub-minute, absolutely. And on the boys' side of the 400 meters, fourth place was Samuel Peña out of PSJ High. Third place was Isaiah Cisneros out of Edinburgh High School. In second place was David De La Garza out of Edinburgh. And your first place winner with a time of a 49.20 is Saul Ramirez out of Weslaco High School.
Yeah, he was out there fast and he hung on. And again, as we mentioned, when he hit that wind, you could tell he kind of like made a little face, and because he knew that was gusting in his face. And coming down after running 300 meters full speed. So here are the boys. It is going to be lane 1, Jose Torres of PHA. Lane 2, Emmanuel Rodriguez of Edinburgh Economides. In lane 3, Marco Hernandez of Weslaco. Bo Flateau of Edinburgh is in lane 4. Jax Barrera of PSJA is in lane 5. Jonathan Ovalle Herrera from Edinburgh North in lane 6. Troy Hammond Edinburgh in lane 7. Sean Vela of PHA in lane 8. Record 37.64 by none other than Randy Bermea. Best qualifying time, 42.81. Bo Flateau in lane 4. We saw him run earlier, looking strong. And here in lane 3, Marco Hernandez of Weslaco looking strong. But on his outside is Bo Flateau of Edinburgh. Seems like he is out in front. Edinburgh and Edinburgh North, Jonathan Ovalle Herrera. So Bo Flateau and Herrera looking first and second here. Flateau out in front. Flateau finishes first, Herrera finishing second, and it looks like maybe Jax Barrera in third.
Yeah, you can tell all those runners are exhausted. Even Flateau on that last hurdle, he was taking his time on it. He knew he was going to finish this race in first place, and he just made sure he cleared that last hurdle. You see him go really hard, as we reached the last 100 meters or so, and everybody's still kind of going at full force. But, this is, again, Joe, where you're going against the wind, so it's very exhausting out there. But you notice the young man from Edinburgh, he just wants to make sure that he hurdles that last one nice and clean and finishes strong.
Yeah, you could see Herrera from Edinburgh North, really pushing himself to get over those hurdles because, you're running full speed and you still got to jump. And, that momentum was taking him almost clearly into the next lane. And, it just goes to show just how difficult this race really is. So the girls and boys 300-meter hurdles are in the books, and now we will go to the 200-meter dash. That's going to be the next event, and we've got about 10 minutes before we get to that one. But again, Mike, the girls 400-meter dash, let's talk a little bit about that. As we mentioned, you had Jenna Peña and Sadie Romero finishing first and second, and really giving the girls just that little boost they needed to get over the top and to get themselves into first place. Because again, they've got several events to come up, and of course, course, we've got in second place, just behind with 2 points. It is. Edinburgh, and Edinburgh has got some good hurdlers that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, like those little things, Joe. Like even if you have a runner that finished second or third on the point system, it's very, very crucial.
Let's say you get someone that finishes second and third,
correct,
but you only have one of yours finishing first. That second and third is more points.
Correct, and we just saw the 300-meter hurdles. Mia Gonzalez. We thought she was going to finish in second place, and then she was able at the very end to finish strong, finishing in first place. And so, that's a few extra points for the team. And as close as this district race is, that may pay off at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you've been mentioning this quite a bit. It's those little things, those little points, those second and third, those fourth and fifth finishes that keep, they accumulate.
Absolutely. And so, we'll see what happens. It looks to me like it's going to come down to the last event. On the girls' side, it's going to come down to the very last event. Who is going to step up and here's for those little things we mentioned about finishing. Well, on that last race, it may come down to who had the cleanest exchange on the baton. And so it's going to be very exciting, Joe.
In the 200-meter dash, in the girls' division, it seems like we may have three heats.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
And that's the only one because the boys have one heat.
Right. Yeah, I know we had talked about, I don't know if it was before the broadcast or during the broadcast, that sometimes they'll have multiple heats in this event, but then when the time comes, they'll actually just narrow it to one. So we're going to find out to see if that's going to be the case or if they are going to have the 3 heats. But nevertheless, let's see if Joe was able to find out if it is going to be.
It is going to be 3 heats. Okay. Now, there was some mishaps that happened yesterday in the prelim. And because of that mishap in the prelims, they are going to run the 3 heats here because they actually ran less than 200 meters yesterday. And because of that, they will be running 3 heats here in the 200 meters. And so we're just going to have to wait and see because we're not just going to have one last heat where we have a top finisher. That top finisher could come from a previous heat.
Sure. It could come in the first heat or second heat.
Because we've seen like third place finishers come from the last heat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or means for the first heat. And
yeah,
then,
it's happened before.
Right,
where
exactly.
When we'll read out the results and then we'll come across the name like, wait a minute, didn't that individual run in the first heat or the second heat? And
right.
So this might be the case right here.
So that is going to be a tricky one. And in the first heat, Mike, as you've alluded to, and I'm just going to give you credit for this, the scary part is you got these people that come in with no times.
Yeah, and in this first heat, we have how many? About 4 of them, yeah. Yep. So, yeah, this first race is going to be interesting. One of them is going to be a Weslaco runner.
Yeah, Leanda Gutierrez is going to be in lane 5.
Right.
So let's go ahead and give you those competitors here in the first of 3 heats. Gisela Abad of PSJA, Juliana Carrales of La Joya, Janelle Gracia of La Joya, Leanda Gutierrez of Weslaco, and Aaliyah Guerrero of PSJA. And Janelle Gracia is the only one with a time, and the other 4 don't have a time. And as you've mentioned many a times in our broadcast, those are the ones that are a little scary because you just don't know what they're capable of doing.
So what happens, Joe, when you have this situation, you have 4 runners that don't have a time? How do they know whether to place them in lane 2, lane 3, lane 5, lane 6? How is that decided? Perhaps a coin flip, or pick a number from 1 to 10, or maybe they tic-tac-toe?
They draw. Okay. They draw. Yeah, because like even and I don't know if that's the case today, and I should have found this out, but I didn't. But like, let's say for instance, when I ran, we only had 7 teams in our district, so they like the relays, they just drew. They didn't go by your time; they drew. And so whatever you drew is.
It only makes sense to have that kind of formula just to be fair all across. So, because I do know. runners, the way they're always lined up, are the fastest ones are normally in the middle, the lane 4, the lane 5.
Yeah, lane 4 will always be your fastest.
Correct. And then you have like lane 1 and lane 8. You know, one a little bit slower, lane 8 a little bit slower, you know, but they're on the outside and the other one's on the inside. So,
well, the girls are on the track, so because of the fact that we have multiple heats, we may get it started a little earlier because this one was officially supposed to start at 7 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check the official starting time for this event.
or perhaps 8 p.m.
Yeah, it was supposed to start at 7:55.
Oh.
And so we're 7:51. So because of the fact, like I said, that we have multiple heats, they may start a little bit earlier to allow for that time as to not push us behind schedule. So they are on their mark. Again, Gisela Abad in lane 2, Juliana Carrales in lane 3, Janelle Gracia in lane 4, Leandra Gutierrez in lane 5, Aaliyah Guerrero in lane 6. We have one Weslaco representative in Leandra Gutierrez, who is in lane 5, but she is not on the track. And they are off. In lane 4, Janelle Gracia. The two young ladies from La Jolla in lane 3 and 4 out in front. But on the inside lane, it is Giselle Abad looking really strong. Falling behind now, and it's going to be the two girls from La Jolla finishing first and second. And in third place on that is going to be Aaliyah Guerrero from PSJ on the outside lane. So good job there by Janelle Gracia and Juliana Carrales of La Jolla. In the second heat, it is going to be in lane 2, Itel Peña of Edinburgh, Julissa Loya of Edinburgh Economides. In lane 4, also of Edinburgh Economides, it's Marali Ortiz. In lane 5, Yahaira Oliver. She is of Weslaco. And in lane 6, Kelly Molina of Edinburgh North. Verita Granum is the record holder. Back in 2009, set the record at 25:54.
So in a race like this, Joe, with the wind blowing, as we mentioned, from the southeast, that first 100 meters is probably, that's the part where you want to get it out of the way, right? You're just going to just find a way to kind of position yourself and get around that curve, and then that last 100 meters or so, you just want to fly.
Yeah, because at least the first 50, 60 meters, it's in your face.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of until you get beyond the scoreboard that you may begin to kind of feel it at your back.
A little bit, right.
Yahaira Oliver is in lane 5 from Weslaco. So that's the one lone representative of the Lady Panther squad out there right now.
Do I have an opportunity to read out
Yes.
some results here on the girls' 300-meter hurdles? We talked about that event earlier. In fourth place was Allison Andrade out of Edinburgh North. Third place was Melanie Ramos out of Edinburgh High. Second place was Kaylee Andrade out of Edinburgh North. And, if you remember, Joe, she dominated most of the race. And then your first place winner with a time of 47:17 was Mia Gonzalez out of Edinburgh High School. Kaylee finished with a 47:27.
Ladies are set. And it's a good, clean start. Again, we have one Weslaco representative in Yahaira Oliver. She is out there. On her inside are a girl from Edinburgh Economides, Marali Ortiz, and Julissa Loya. And it looks like right now it is Ortiz out in front, followed by Oliver. So it's going to be Ortiz and Oliver. So Marali Ortiz of Edinburgh Economides, followed by Yahaira Oliver of Weslaco. You know, Mike, Edinburgh North had a couple of finishers in there, and they picked up 10 points and have jumped out in front of Weslaco, as did Edinburgh, because Edinburgh also had a couple of finishers in there. Weslaco didn't have anybody in that event that finished with any points, so they stayed at 112, so they fall into third place. So again, going back to your comment about the little things, you know, and so it's gonna be interesting as we progress here in the evening.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a couple of more events. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're almost done, but it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be fun.
And we've got the final third of 3 heats, and it's going to be Emily Bounds of Edinburgh County Lane 1, Juliana Guajardo of PSJ in Lane 2, Yuridia Perez Duran of Edinburgh in Lane 3, Melissa Kutzer of Edinburgh North in Lane 4, Amory Williams of Edinburgh North in Lane 5, Montserrat Ayala of La Jolla in Lane 6, Gabby Jackson of Weslaco in Lane 7, and Bianca Garcia of Edinburgh in Lane 8. So again, you know, you've got Melissa Kutzer of Edinburgh North, who has already got the Edinburgh North team in first place, with an opportunity to even extend that lead here, because she's got the fastest qualifying time, and she's also the gold medal winner of the 100, if we remember from earlier.
And the second fastest time is also an Edinburgh North runner, so
they're both in lane 4 and 5.
Right. So, you know, that's a pretty good position if you're Edinburgh North. Can they take care of business here and, you know, get some points, rack up some points?
There's a holdup.
Oh, I heard the whistle.
Yeah, they got the red flags up at the finish line. So not sure what's going on. Okay, now it's all clear. Okay, here we go. Maybe they're waiting for the truck to get across.
There you go. That's exactly what's happening right now. It looks like is it the trainer or somebody's kind of going around the podium there,
right,
and back to the turf there. So I think we're ready to go.
So here we go. The final of 3 heats in the girls 200-meter dash. It is going to be Gabby Jackson of Weslaco. She is out in lane 7. But again, as you mentioned, Mike, we got 2 ladies from Edinburgh North with the best 2 qualifying times, Melissa Kutzer and Amory Williams. It's a good, clean start. Kutzer's already in front, and this is going to be her race. She is way out in front. She just overtook everybody in the first 40 meters, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
There was just no way she's going to be denied this race. But look at the young lady from Edinburgh.
Yeah.
The young lady from Edinburgh is Yuraida Perez Duran, running really strong in second place. And it looks like Edinburgh North's, the other young lady, Amory Williams, is going to get third place. So
right.
First and third.
That's going to be important for them, too.
Yep. But what a race by the young lady from Edinburgh, Yuridia Perez Duran. She looked really strong in that race.
Yeah, you mentioned, Joe, the first 40 meters or so, she just was able to make up, you know, surpass everybody and just really dominate the race. And
yeah, this was Kutzer's race from the beginning.
Right.
She was just way out in front of everybody. What a great start she had. And look at that determination on her face. There ain't nobody going to catch her. And then, you know what the funny thing is, Mike, that I'm just thinking about right now? Normally, the races are run this way, so they see themselves on the big board. Here, they don't.
No. So this time, you know, you got to just keep going. You know, you have no scoreboard to look at. You know, the only person they're looking at is Amadeo down there with the camera. That's it. And so yeah, right now it's just about where is that finish line. I'm going to cross it. I'm going to go as fast as I can, not worry about the scoreboard. And, yeah, fantastic job by Edinburgh North there.
So the boys are next, and it'll be just 1 heat because they didn't have to do or didn't run shorter than 200 meters like the girls did yesterday. And it'll be Anthony Martinez of Weslaco in lane 1, Riley Limon of PSJ in lane 2, Samuel Peña also of PSJ, he'll be in lane 3, Andres Valdez of Weslaco in lane 4, Saul Ramirez of Weslaco in lane 5, Caleb Moreno of La Jolla in lane 6, Mario Salinas of Edinburgh North in lane 7, and also of Edinburgh North is Eric Gonzalez in lane 8. Louis Ontiveros, another record that Louis holds. He holds a couple of records here in 31-6A. This record was set back in 1998, 21:44. And we got Valdez, Ramirez, and Martinez, all of Weslaco in this one. So another chance for Weslaco to extend their lead here.
Yeah, this is the one we were talking about, Joe, earlier with Saul Ramirez and Andres Valdez. This is a good test for Andres. We saw what he did in the 100 meters. And now let's see how he does in the 200 meters going up against his good buddy, Saul Ramirez.
Yeah, it's a good test for Ramirez to see how good he can do, speed-wise. And look at Valdez. He is already out in front, and he's already making up the stagger. Here comes Valdez out in front. Ramirez right on his heels. Here they come. Valdez, Ramirez, just like in the 100. It's going to be Valdez, Ramirez. But look on the inside in lane 1, Anthony Martinez trying to get out there into the 4th place spot.
Whoa.
But I'm not sure if he did or not. Ramirez fell there at the end, but I think he's just
okay.
tired.
Yeah,
he seems to be okay. He's just exhausted.
Yeah, he's exhausted. It's been a long day. It was very hot out there, and I know the sun has gone down. It's going to get a little cooler, but yeah, I know all these athletes are very tired, and I think they're just ready to hoist that district championship trophy is what they want to do.
But look at Valdez, Mike. He came out just like a cannonball out of a cannon.
Yeah.
And he was just going to finish strong. We talked about this race and how this race is not only speed, but a little bit of endurance as well. And so when we look at that, and again, we're not the coaches and we don't see them out on the track. We just know what we see from up here in our position. Ramirez seems to have a little bit more on the edge when it comes to endurance.
Right.
Valdez seems to have the edge when it comes to speed.
Right.
And this 200-meter race is kind of a little mixture of them both. But Valdez just, got out there in front, and he just held on to that first place position and finished strong for a gold medal. So again, just as we saw in the 100, it is Valdez and Ramirez in the 200, gold and silver.
And it's good to see Joe, both those guys, go head to head and dominate the race, and they did very, very well. And while we wait, Joe, I do have the results of the boys' 300-meter hurdles. It took place a little earlier. In 4th place was Jax Barrera out of PSJA High. 3rd place was Marco Hernandez out of Weslaco. 2nd place was Jonathan Ovalle Herrera out of Edinburgh North. And your 1st place winner with a time of 41:59 is Bo Flateau out of Edinburgh High School.
There they are, gold and silver. Andres Valdez, Saul Ramirez, 1st and 2nd for your Panthers.
And notice that they're sitting. They don't want to stay because they're so tired. I don't blame them.
Get the girls to the podium.
And now they're smiling. Good job, Andres. He goes, hurry up, because I can't hold it much longer.
I know. Give them some water, please.
Yes.
Or Gatorade. They deserve it.
That they do.
Get the girls 200 to the podium.
So now it is the girls' 1,600-meter run, again, followed by the boys right after that.
We need the following boys to the podium for the 200-meter dash.
We're down to the final 2 events.
Right,
Joe.
exactly.
Yeah. Four races overall. 2 events, a 1,600-meter run, and then it's going to be the 4x400-meter relay.
To the awards area.
So let's go ahead and give you the participants, because it's a long list while we wait for them to get out onto the track. We're about 4 minutes from starting that one.
Have to have numbers.
Myra Sandoval of Edinburgh, Amory Ebarb of Weslaco, Danae Arellano of Edinburgh, Fernanda Alvarez of Weslaco, Anaí Vega of Edinburgh Economides, Asante Stewart of La Joya, Destiny Trevino of Edinburgh, Magdalena Torres of Edinburgh Economides, Jerica Lugo of Edinburgh North, Elora de la Serra of PSJA, Sara Peña of Edinburgh North, Ashlyn Reyes of Edinburgh North, Melanie Valdez of Edinburgh Economides, Elizabeth Bolanos of Edinburgh Economides, Jacqueline Sanchez of La Joya, and Leila Vallejo of Weslaco. So some really good competitors from Weslaco in this one, Mike, because we need to get some points here.
Crucial race this is going to be, and an opportunity, because as you mentioned, you got Myra Sandoval. Oh, that's Edinburgh High School, I beg your pardon. But you got Emery Ebarb with the 2nd best time. If she can find a way to win a gold, and if you got Fernanda Alvarez coming in with the fourth best time. If she can, kind of climb up a little bit and finish with either a silver or a bronze, they're going to need those points, because as we stand right now, Joe, we have Edinburgh North with 138 points, Edinburgh High School with 124, and Weslaco High with 114. So a lot of work to do, but it can be done. And as a matter of fact, I'll read out the results of the girls 200-meter dash. In fourth place was Montserrat Ayala out of La Jolla. In third place was Emery Williams out of Edinburgh North. In second place is Yuridia. You can help me out, Joe, a little bit.
Yuridia, I think, yeah.
I think you said a little bit better than I did. Yuridia Perez Duran out of Edinburgh High School. And your first place winner with a time of 25:43 is Melissa Kotzer out of Edinburgh North. And would that mean, Joe, that it's a new record?
District record.
District record.
I believe so, because that's 1/10 of a second better.
Yeah, so congratulations to her. And once again, Edinburgh North is in first place right now with 138 points, and Edinburgh High with 124, followed by Weslaco with 114.
Yeah, Edinburgh has a couple of strong competitors in this race as well. So a chance for both Weslaco and Edinburgh to make up some ground against Edinburgh North here in this one. So, but of course, we're rooting for Weslaco.
Absolutely. I mean, both schools are thinking the same thing. Like, guys, this is an opportunity right here, right now. It's now or never. The district championship is on the line. Let's position ourselves for the last race.
Yeah, the relay.
We need to catch up to Edinburgh North, because I mean, looking down here, yes, there are some Edinburgh North participants. They're kind of down there in the ladder. Preliminary times or seating times are a little lower. So yeah, an opportunity, Joe. Let's see what happens.
So the girls are being sent to the track. And again, as we mentioned, Amory Ebarb here in this one with the second best qualifying time, less than half a second off the best qualifying time. And of course, we've also got from Weslaco Fernanda Alvarez and Leila Vallejo. So again, if we can get Alvarez, in there and Vallejo into the mix as well, that would be really, really good if we could get all three of those young ladies to participate in the point standing.
This is what it's all about, Joe. This is what competition is all about. This is what you work for. It's just an opportunity to win a district championship.
There's Ebarb on the screen. As you mentioned a little while ago, Mike, what goes through their mind? Here she's already secured one gold. Is she looking at maybe a second gold?
5:44.56. Will be right number 4.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun race, Joe. Looking forward to it. And the wind is still blowing pretty hard too, Joe.
Yeah, I was looking at Amory's hair. Look at it.
Yeah. Here we go.
And they're off. A good, clean start. As we mentioned, Amory Ebarb from Weslaco with the second best time. Myra Sandoval with the first best time coming into the event. And it's going to be Ebarb going to get ready to set the pace. But look at Fernanda Alvarez going to go out there and not only challenge her, but hopefully encourage Amory Ebarb, and both of them running there together. Hopefully they can encourage one another to just run this race at their best potential.
Yeah, and early on they have a pretty good gap, but we know 1,600 meters is four laps, so a lot of work to do, but a good start.
So it's Alvarez and Ebarb of Weslaco out in front in the first 300 meters of this race, followed by a couple of ladies from Edinburgh.
And while we do have a little bit of time, Joe, I'll read out the boys' 200-meter dash results. Fourth place was Riley Limon out of PSGA High. Third place was Samuel Peña out of PSGA High. Second place is a Saul Ramirez out of Weslaco. And your first place winner with a time of 21:82 is Andres Valdez out of Weslaco High School. And as far as team rankings are concerned, Weslaco is dominating with 159 points, followed by PSJ High with 92. As a matter of fact, there's a PSJ and Edinburgh are tied for second with 92 points, followed by Edinburgh North. So Weslaco is in great position for the district championship. And last but not least, Joe, I'll read out the girls' 3,200 meter run that took place. I don't know if it was earlier today or yesterday.
I want to say it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
I think so.
But once again, the top 4 runners move on. And the 4th place was a Mayra Sandoval out of Edinburgh. And 3rd place was a Fernanda Alvarez out of Weslaco, as we see her running right now and is doing very well. And 2nd place is a Danae Arellano out of Edinburgh. And your 1st place winner with a time of 12:22:52 is Asante Stewart out of La Jolla High School. And on the boys' side, 4th place was a Sebastian Cabanas out of Weslaco High. 3rd place is a Joshua Rodriguez. I believe he's the one that won district in cross country. And 2nd place was Oscar Valencia out of Edinburgh Economides. And your 1st place winner with a time of 10:09:31 is Stephen Guillen out of Edinburgh High School.
Ebarb still out in front as we approach the halfway mark. And then, of course, it is some girls from La Jolla and Edinburgh. We'll get those bib numbers for you in just a bit. It is going to be Sante Stewart. She was a 2nd place finisher, if I'm not mistaken, in the 800.
I think you're right, Joe.
So Ebarb still out in front. Alvarez now slipping into 4th place. So still in that area round. I'm sorry, slipping in the 5th place.
Right.
Slipping in the 5th place. My bad there. So we've got Stewart and Ebarb out in front, followed by a couple of girls from Edinburgh in Arellano and Vega. I'm sorry, Sandoval and Arellano. Sandoval and Arellano. So Ebarb's got about a 5-meter lead right now. Stewart in 2nd, the young lady from La Jolla. Again, followed by the girls from Edinburgh, Sandoval and Arellano. So those are 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they've got a commanding lead on the rest of the group. At least a good 30 meters right now. And it looks like it's Fernanda Alvarez in 5th place. Trying to see here, there's a barrier in my way, but now that they're coming down, I get a little better visual. So again, Ebarb and Stewart 1 and 2.
Still got 1 lap to go.
As we approach the final lap, the bell will sound in just a second. Alvarez in 5th. And there it is.
I'm looking at Ebarb is looking at that scoreboard.
So Ebarb with 1 last lap, and she's got Stewart on her heels. And Stewart trying to make a move, but Ebarb just pushed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm noticing that, Joe. Yeah, she's trying to turn it up a notch a little bit.
So Stewart now in front.
Okay.
Stewart has just taken the lead over Ebarb. And in 3rd, it's Sandoval, followed by Arellano.
There goes Ebarb.
Ebarb trying to hang on. Trying to hang on there in 2nd, maybe with a mindset, okay, I just got to get around the turn and then really pour it on in the home stretch. But it looks like Stewart has a little bit more in the tank because she has just extended her lead. So it's Stewart followed by Ebarb, and then it's going to be Sandoval and Arellano.
And there they go. There's the 2 Edinburgh girls making a move there for 2nd and 3rd.
Sandoval and Arellano. So here comes Stewart. Stewart looks like she is going to finish 1st. She's got a good 10-meter lead on everybody. Stewart and, Arellano and Sandoval of Edinburgh in 2nd and 3rd, followed by Ebarb in 4th. So that's how they will finish. So those are your area qualifiers right there.
So Edinburgh High is going to rack up some points here on the team rankings, that's for sure.
La Jolla's Asante Stewart with the gold, followed by Sandoval, Arellano, and Ebarb. And here come the final contestants here in the mile run. Alvarez coming in and finishing strong, but she'll be going to area in the 2 mile.
Yeah. Yeah, she's had herself a good day today.
And there comes Leila Vallejo. We can see her coming in to finish as well. So again, it's Asante Stewart with the gold, followed by Myra Sandoval, Danae Arellano, and Amory Ebarb, 1, 2, 3, and 4 here in the 1,600-meter run. Now it's the boys' turn. And while we have the last girls coming across the finish line, let's go ahead and give you the assignment for the boys. It's going to be Yahir Martinez of Edinburgh Economides, Oscar Valencia, also of Edinburgh Economides, Stephen Guillen of Edinburgh High, Sebastian Cabañas of Weslaco, Nicolas Salinas of Edinburgh North, Joshua Rodriguez of Weslaco. And here is the final 100 meters of the girls' 1,600-meter run. As you can see there, it is Stewart of La Jolla, followed by Sandoval of Edinburgh, and also Arellano of Edinburgh, and Ebarb of Weslaco. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good finish there by the young lady of La Jolla, Asante Stewart. A gold medal for her in the 1,600. And of course, I believe, if I am correct, she got silver in the 800. So a good night for her. Continue with the boys. Joshua Rodriguez of Weslaco, Byro Mesa of Edinburgh Economides, Marco Garcia of Edinburgh, Aiden Sandoval of Edinburgh, Adrian Vega of PSJA, Enrique Cristobal of La Jolla, Nathaniel Zuniga of Edinburgh North, Eloy Benavides of La Jolla, Joshua Casarin of La Jolla, Ryan Gutierrez of Edinburgh North, and Jeremiah Lewis of PSJA. The record, Hector Solis, set in 2022, 4:17:51. 4:32 is the best qualifying time. Yahir Martinez and Oscar Valencia, both of Edinburgh Economides, coming in with 4:32s. Followed by Stephen Guillen of Edinburgh, 4:34, and Sebastian Cabañas of Weslaco with a time of 4:40. So Weslaco with two participants here, one being Sebastian Cabañas, the other being Joshua Rodriguez. You mentioned that he won gold in cross country?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Joe, I think that's the young man, because a lot of time has passed by since the early fall season here. And yeah, the young man, there was a young man from Weslaco that won this ring. I believe it was him. Fine young man, and I know he's also running track, so he's doing well. I can read out the girls' 1,600-meter run, and I know we're starting the boys' 1,600-meter run, but the results are: on fourth place was Amory Ebarb out of Weslaco. In fourth place. Third place is Danae Arellano out of Edinburgh. Second place is Myra Sandoval out of Edinburgh High School. And your first place winner with a time of 5:25:93 is Asante Stewart out of La Jolla High School. As far as the team rankings are concerned, Edinburgh High School was in first place, Joe, with 139 points, followed by Edinburgh North with 138 points, and Weslaco is in third place with 118.
So it looks like it's going to be Edinburgh's game to win, to lose
right
here. They could just hang on with a few points in the relay.
In the final event.
Yeah. Because I don't even, Edinburgh North, they would have to win it and then get some help from Edinburgh. But, whatever points Edinburgh gets may be enough for them to hang on.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's going to come down to those two schools right there for the district championship.
Yeah, it would almost have to be a DQ for Edinburgh to not win it.
But on the boys' side, it looks really good for Weslaco.
Yeah,
they're gonna.
I don't think anybody's gonna catch Weslaco.
No, I don't think anybody's gonna.
And then I really think that they're gonna finish with a gold in the 4x400 meter relay.
So it'd be perfect way to win the night.
Yeah,
is to win that event, the last event of the night, and then hoist that trophy.
So they have completed 600 meters here in the 1,600 meter run, and the young man from Edinburgh Economides, Oscar Valencia, is out in front, followed by Stephen Guillen of Edinburgh. And in the mix is Sebastian Cabañas. He's in third place right now.
You notice, Joe, that even though the sun has set, we have a number of these runners wearing the shades.
It might be for the wind.
Okay.
You know, because, you know, windy conditions, especially having to run out there, might cause your eyes to water a little bit. You know, so you might want to just use them to block the wind.
You're still able to see.
Right. The lights are on, and it's not like you're driving or anything. You're just running. You just want to be able to see kind of what's in front of you. But that may be the reason as to why they may have their glasses on, is because they want to keep that wind out of their eyes and keeping any debris out as well. So here comes Guillen and Valencia making the turn here as we come down the last home stretch of the third lap. So in front, Stephen Guillen, followed by Oscar Valencia, first and second. And they've got a pretty commanding lead. Cabañas is in third right now, and in fourth is Yakir Martinez.
And he's trying to make a move, though, for third place.
And there's the gun for the final lap. And does Guillen have enough in the tank to finish? Because you could see him grimacing a little bit, but then who wouldn't?
Yeah, and notice Cabañas in third place. Right behind him is that young man trying to make a move.
Yakir Martinez.
Yeah.
So it looks like those four are going to be the area qualifiers for sure. But again, Stephen Guillen running a great race. He's got about 200 meters to go now. He's still out in front. Valencia in second. Can Valencia overtake him as we now approach the 150 mark? Valencia trying to make a move, but Guillen hanging on strong to first place. Here comes Guillen with the final 100 meters. He's got about a 7-meter lead, and it looks like he is going to win this one.
Yeah, look at him.
Don't celebrate too much now.
Yeah, he's trying to raise that finger up there, number one. He's already celebrating. It looks like he's going to hang on. See, I wasn't sure if he was smiling or if he was wincing. I think he was smiling because, you know, it's such a long race that, you know, you're exhausted. You see Cabañas finish there in third place. Great job there. But, you know, we saw him kind of showing his smile a little bit, even in, you know, the last lap, in the last 200 meters or so. And I wasn't sure if he was just wincing because he's so tired or if he was enjoying the race.
I think he was grimacing because he was tired, you know, because as I mentioned, as the gun went off, you could see him really trying to pull something out, you know, just really digging deep because, you know, like you said, Mike, it is a long race.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
But what a great feeling, like to run 4 laps and it's such a hot day and to come out on top. I mean, there's no better feeling like it.
So we head to the final event of the night, the 4x400-meter relay. The girls division, record was set back in 2015, 3:57. Arndt, De Leon, Sauceda, and Villarreal, names that we know all so well, Mike.
Yeah. Angela Villarreal.
Yeah.
Great basketball player.
A great trackster as well.
Great trackster as well.
But look at Guillen. He is really wanting to finish this one. He wants people to cheer him on. Come on, here we go. I'm in first. I'm in first. I need some cheering.
And keep in mind, Joe, he's going against the wind. So just imagine what's going through their minds. So tired and so exhausted. Where's that finish line? He finally crosses it. Well-deserved the gold medal.
And as we mentioned, the 4x400-meter relay is the final event of the night.
Race for the district championship.
And it's going to be Edinburgh in lane 2, Edinburgh Economides in lane 3, Weslaco in lane 4, Edinburgh North in lane 5, PSJA in lane 6, La Jolla in lane 7. So we'll give you the competitors of that race in just a little bit. As we've got a little bit of time, Mike is going to give us some more results.
Yes, I got the results of the boys' 1,600-meter run. In fourth place was Yair Martinez out of Edinburgh Economides. Third place is Sebastian Cabanas out of Weslaco. First place was Oscar Valencia out of Edinburgh Economides. And your first place winner with a time of a 4:34.43 is Stephen Guillen out of Edinburgh High School. And as far as the team rankings are concerned, Weslaco way ahead with 165 points. Second place is Edinburgh with 102, followed by PSJA with 92. So really, Joe, this last race is just for pride. It's about advancing. Remember, the top four in each event advance, but your district champions are going to be the Weslaco Panthers.
Right.
Economides at 4:35.18.
Yeah, we kind of knew that already, you and I, mentally, Mike. You know, we didn't really announce it or promote it, but, you know, as we were getting ready to come onto the air, we were looking at that, and we were looking, as we've mentioned before, at the number of competitors they had in each of the events. And not only that, not just the number, but the names.
Absolutely.
You know, the names. We knew that these guys were going to finish strong and finish on top. You know, and two of those names that kept recurring were the names Andres Valdez and Saul Ramirez.
Right, right. And just the fact that they can finish first and second place in their events, I mean, it's great. It's great to see. You know, I'm looking over there at the
1600-meter relay.
podium over there, and I believe it's that young man that just finished.
Guillen.
Yeah, Guillen that just finished in first place. I think because they're taking a photo is what
Yeah,
they're
they were
doing.
taking his picture.
Yeah.
There's a young lady in front of him right there taking his picture.
Okay.
Just finished running the 1600-meter relay.
So he's going to blast that all over social media in just a second. We'll look up the hashtag 316A gold medal.
And while we have a few minutes, Joe, how about if we get a shout out to our staff?
Let's do that.
Because you know, this is what our third meet here in Weslaco that we've hosted, starting with the Jimmy Platt, and then we had the meet of champions, and now tonight we're finishing with the 31-6A district championship. So we got Mike Palacios back there, you know, kind of running things around, giving you the shots. You know, as the director back there.
Camera one, camera two, camera three.
Yeah. Well, look, one of the cameras, yeah. In no particular order, we got Dan Ramirez with one of the cameras, Vinny Berry's another, Val Zamora, and we can't forget our buddy Amadeo down there giving you the is it the gimbal?
The gimbal, yeah.
Gimbal camera there, just hustling down the field. And then we have Hugo De Leon and Coach Alexandria Trevino giving us the results, hustling here in the press box, giving us the results as we're on the air, you and I talking and doing our broadcasting, and we're able to read out the results quickly to you because of them and giving them to us at a great time. And then we can't forget Joe Leal back there too, you know, with the sound. And we got Adrian De Leon doing the replay for us. And who am I want to make sure I don't forget anybody.
Rafael Garces.
Rafael Garces. He's the guy in charge of the live.
Right.
Without him, nobody would be able to see us on social media. And last but not least, how about Carlos Robledo,
The director.
Our director,
Who puts all this together.
Yeah.
He's right there with Coach Cuellar.
Yeah, he's okay. He's down there with Coach Cuellar, one of our WISD school board members. A lot of support by the school district to provide us with a team, with the equipment, to give us the videos and the pictures. And you see Edinburgh North, they can smell a district championship, but right there with them is Edinburgh High School. And I know another thing that we had talked about, Joe, was the recent rainfall we had.
Right. You know, so we really want to let you know, of course, we bring you this broadcast, and of course our thoughts and prayers are out there with those that are affected by the flooding. You know, we don't know if any of our athletes, may not have been able to go home over the last week or not, and of course that bears heavy on their hearts. Maybe one of their family members are affected. We know that there's a lot of not-for-profit groups down here already assisting in different ways, helping people clean up debris, feeding some of the people, because again, if your house got flooded, it's going to be really, really hard for you to be able to use your stove or even your refrigerator is not working. So you've got food that is probably getting spoiled. So it's really a difficult time. So yeah, so we just really want to let you know that we have you in our prayers, and of course we want to send our thoughts and prayers to the Metcalf family, Austin Metcalf, who died because he was stabbed at a track meet yesterday.
Yeah.
And so just things that happen in our world that
Right.
we just don't really understand. But
Right, and it was a district meet.
It was a
up there
district
in
meet.
North Texas.
Yep, it
Right.
was. So.
Yeah, but I think going back to the rain and the flood, what I really like, Joe, is just how everybody comes together to help one another, and that's
Right.
what it's all about. Here in the Rio Grande Valley, we are a close-knit region. Even though in sporting events there's competition and we're enemies just for a few hours, but all said and done, we all stick together, and we're there for one another, neighboring communities, and whether you're from Roma or if you're from Port Isabel, Brownsville area, and everything in between up to Raymondville, we all come together when something happens and there's a need. Everybody is there for one another. And I mean, I know when going back to sports, when Weslaco High won that softball championship, state championship, I mean, just the whole valley was just so happy, and that's what it's all about. And so we have moments like that, and then there's also moments like the rainfall and floods, and it's the same thing. We're all there for one another. And yeah, as you mentioned, Joe, I love what you said in regards to the prayer. We're thinking about everybody, and we will get through this.
Yes, we will. We will. So again, it is the final event of the night, the girls and boys 4x400 meter relay. It's going to be the girls first. In lane 2, Edinburgh, they will have Concepcion Salas, Emma Garza, Melanie Ramos, and Itzel Peña. In lane 3, Edinburgh Economides, Gabriela Maldonado, Cristina Herrera, Melanie Martinez, and Ashley Arias. Weslaco is in lane 4, Sadie Romero, Jenna Peña, Alessandra Torres, and Amory Ebarb. Edinburgh North is in lane 5, Michaeli Moreno, Diamond Molina, Zoe Daniel, and Aiden Guerrero. PSJA is in lane 6, Mia Lamas, Annalise Ostorlaza, Mallory Flores, and Juliana Guajardo. La Joya is in lane 7, Samantha Zamora, Rosales Areli, Victoria Gonzalez, and Aileen Sandoval. Mike, that Weslaco team, Sadie Romero, Jenna Peña. Jenna and Sadie first and second in the 400. Jenna also ran the 800. Okay, so
Yeah.
Jenna is going to regional. To area in the 800 and the 400. Alessandra Torres, Amory Ebarb. She has run what? The 800, the 1600,
Oh my
and you're
God.
asking her to run one more lap,
As the anchor. Oh, what a day she's had, that's for sure. She's going to be tired. She's going to sleep well tonight.
She's going to sleep well tonight.
And today's Thursday, Joe. They still have to get up in the morning and
go
go
to school
Oh, my
tomorrow.
goodness.
But you know what? If they win gold tonight, will she even be able to sleep?
Yeah, she'll sleep with the medal.
Yeah, exactly. Because she's got a couple of medals already that
Yeah.
she's won tonight. So.
Right.
So she'll be moving on to the area round, I know, in at least 2 events. And, of course, this one would be the 3rd. So, again, just waiting for everybody to get ready for the 4x400 meter relay. They are already getting themselves prepared on the track to get this event underway. As we mentioned earlier, and we've talked about a few times, the weather has been a little crazy tonight. We are expecting a cold front tomorrow here in deep South Texas. The winds have not really let up. They are still blowing at 24 miles an hour, and I can just imagine what they are gusting at. So again, the girls will all have one trip around the track, and they will have the wind at their back, but they'll also have the wind at their face on many of occasions. So again, it is a one trip around the track for each of the athletes, as it is the 4x400 meter relay. And as we mentioned earlier, the record is held by the team from Weslaco back in 2015. It was Art, De Leon, Sauceda, and Villarreal. couple of names that we've mentioned throughout the years, and of course, you know, that have really stood the test over the last several years here in District 31 6A. Girls are already getting their final marching orders as they are discussing things over with the organizers here of this 31 6A track meet. And again, as we mentioned, this is set to begin at 8:40, which is just 3 minutes away from now. So again, the girls are getting their last second instructions, and they will be sent out to the track momentarily. All the athletes on the track ready to go. The last event of the night, the 4x400 meter relay. And as we mentioned, you know, the point standings, Edinburgh North out in first and second, and of course Weslaco in third. It'll be really hard for them to move up or down anywhere, but again, you know, it looks like this is Edinburgh North. As long as they finish somewhere in the top 4, maybe 5, they should win this one, and Edinburgh High would have to win it.
But regardless, so Weslaco High finishing a solid third. You know, they had some really good moments in this meet, so I know Coach Ama again will be happy about that.
Yeah, finishing third overall would be great. Finishing with a gold medal here would be a very nice way to cap off the evening.
Absolutely, I agree. And they do have the capability.
Yep, they've got, as we were talking about a little while ago, Mike, they've got some big names on this team here. Romero, Peña, Torres, and Ibar. You know, names that have been mentioned many a times, not only tonight, but throughout the years.
Yeah, absolutely, last couple of years.
And it's going to all begin with Sadie Romero. Mike, you were talking about her earlier. She's getting ready to sign, if she is not already, to go compete at the next level, Our Lady of the Lake, and they are looking at her running this event. You know, what I mean by this event is the 400.
Yeah, and that's what Coach Ahmed said, that that's the event that they liked her in, and we saw what she did earlier, and then now another opportunity here, you know, setting the tempo as the first runner of the relay. You know, let's see if she can give Weslaco a good head start.
They do come in with the best qualifying time at 4:08. The second best qualifying time is Edinburgh North at 4:10. Everybody else is a little far behind. But again, you know, some of the things that we've talked about over, you know, the times that you and I have been calling track meets, especially when it comes to the relays, is that exchange.
Yeah, that exchange. I mean, we've seen it earlier where some of those exchanges get a little tricky, and you know, especially in a race like this where district championship is on the line, it's going to be crucial.
So here we go, the girls 4x400 meter relay, just moments away from getting started. Edinburgh in lane 2, Edinburgh in Catamides in lane 3, Weslaco in lane 4, Edinburgh North in lane 5, PSJA in lane 6, and La Jolla in lane 7. So they've been called to their blocks. They're all standing behind them. The starter is at his podium, so he's ready.
And I think the girls are ready too. They're kind of giving that look like, all right, is it almost time?
I know, they've had to wait.
They're anxious.
Yeah, they've had to wait quite a bit. And it's a good, clean start for the final event of the night, the girls 4x400 meter relay. Sadie Romero is is the first leg for your Lady Panthers, and she is looking strong. On her outside is McKaylee Moreno of Edinburgh North. As we mentioned, they are coming in with the number 1 and number 2 times, but it is Romero now beginning to make a move on the Edinburgh North team, as she has just overcome Edinburgh North, and Weslaco is in first place as we come down to the final 100 meters of the first leg in this girls 4x400 meter event. Sadie Romero looking strong, has Weslaco out in front by a good 10 meters. Sadie Romero is going to hand the baton off to Jenna Pena. These were the 1 and 2 in the 400-meter open.
Good handoff.
And it's a good exchange. And here comes Jenna Pena. Jenna ran the 400, she ran the 800, and now she is running the 4x400-meter relay. And on the inside is going to be... I'm sorry, on the outside, it's Edinburgh North doing a really good job standing stride for stride with Weslaco. I'm sorry, that is not.
Economides.
That's Economides.
Yeah.
That's Economides. They both have gray, but that's just the front that they have red, whereas Edinburgh North has blue. But Jenna Pena now beginning to open it up. Edinburgh Economides may have just given up, I'm sorry, overextended herself just a little too much at the beginning to try to make up that ground. But Pena, such a strong runner, but Economides coming back as well. That is Cristina Herrera of Economides. But Jenna Pena keeping Weslaco out in front. She's going to hand the baton off to Alessandra Torres. And there goes Torres in first place. Edinburgh Economides, it's going to be Melanie Martinez. But look at Torres. Torres has opened up a lead, and she looks strong. Those strides are going really smooth, Mike.
Yeah, it looks like she's extending that lead to about 10 meters or so.
Yes, she has. She has just got such a good tempo in that stride. Look at those legs turning, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely, and the way her arms are moving as well.
Yeah, she just looks so comfortable in this race right here. So again, it is Alessandra Torres for Weslaco out in front, and it's Economides in second. That is Melanie Martinez. But here comes down the home stretch. Again, it is Torres for Weslaco.
It's the win. It's the win, Joe. You can see it.
They have hit that win, but look at Economides Martinez is going to overtake Torres. And it's going to be it's going to be Amory Ebarb, the anchor for Weslaco. And for Economides, it is going to be Ashley Arias. So here comes Arias in first, Ebarb in second. Ebarb, again, one of those distance runners, but she's also run quite a bit of distance tonight.
Yeah, she's trying to make a move, though. You can kind of tell. I'm just keeping an eye on them.
She is moving. She is moving. She has closed the gap by at least 3 meters. She is made up some of the gap. Here she comes. She looks determined, Mike.
Yeah.
That camera just went on her face, and she looks determined. Does she have enough to pull this one off? She is at the 150 mark and is now within 3 strides.
Here we go.
Here we go. The final 100 meters. It is Edinburgh Economides' Ashley Arias. It is Weslaco's Amory Ebarb. And here comes Edinburgh High. That is Aiden Guerrero. Amory Ebarb is in first place for Weslaco. Does she finish strong enough to give Weslaco the gold medal? And yes, she does. Weslaco comes away with the gold. What a run by Amory Ebarb.
Yeah, mind over matter, Joe. That's what it was, going up against that win, and it just looked like Ebarb was just had a little more in her, and what a fantastic job, especially that last 100 meters or so. And wow, it was just a lot of back and forth. I mean, Weslaco got off to a great start with Sadie Romero, and then kind of around the third lap is where Economides looked like they were going to take over. It looked like they were going to finish strong. I was a little concerned, Joe, because that last exchange on the baton there, it wasn't the cleanness, but once Ebarb got it, and she just took off, and we just saw her little by little make her move. Especially on the far side, we kind of noticed that, you see there on the replay, the last 50 meters or so, but just the way she was able to overtake the runner and just had a little too much. That win wasn't going to affect her.
I think Amadeo's on that backside.
Yeah.
And when he got that clean shot of her right before they approached that 200-meter mark, you could see in her face this look of determination.
Like, here I come.
Yeah, and she just had her eye on the prize. She had Economides in front of her. As we mentioned, she began to make up the move here at about 250 meters. She was within 7 meters because she was about 10 meters coming at the 300-meter mark.
Right, the 300
and
meter.
then here at about 250, she was within 7, and right about the 200-meter mark, she was about 3 strides away. And as I mentioned, she had that determination. So now we've got the final event of the night. It is the boys 4x400-meter relay. In lane 2, it is La Jolla. In lane 3, it is PSJA. In lane 4, it is Weslaco. In lane 5, it is Edinburgh North. In lane 6, it is Edinburgh High. In lane 7, Edinburgh Economides. La Jolla has Marco Gandaria, Rosbel Mendoza, Anthony Romero, and Alexander Perez. PSJA, Gael Zambrano, Ryan Vallejo, Jonathan Sauceda, Samuel Peña. Weslaco, Samuel Flores, Seth Moya, Jorge Rangel, and Bo Cuellar. Edinburgh North has Patricio Atilano, Richard Molina, Diego Torres, and Ivan Cano. Edinburgh has David De La Garza, Isaiah Cisneros, Jesus Quintanilla, and Woodrow Villarreal. In lane 7, Edinburgh Economides, Axel Ochoa, Emmanuel Rodriguez, Eliel Garcia, and Bayro Mesa. The record in the 4x400-meter relay, it was set in 2009 by PSJA Memorial with a time of 3:19. Weslaco comes in with the best qualifying time at 3:25. As we've mentioned, Mike, Weslaco is way out in front in the point standing. So again, you know, they're going to finish with the first place district overall.
Yeah.
But can they cap it off, as you mentioned, with the icing on the cake and finishing with the gold here? Can we get back-to-back Weslaco golds in the 4x400-meter relay?
That'd be nice. But notice there's no Saul Ramirez in this race.
So again, it is the boys 4x400-meter relay. It is a good, clean start. Samuel Flores looking good coming out of the blocks, beginning to catch up on lane number 5 of Edinburgh North. Here he comes, making the final turn. 200 meters to go for the first leg. Samuel Flores of Weslaco. He's already made up the stagger on Edinburgh North, but out on top is going to be Edinburgh High. David De La Garza looking really strong for the Bobcats. Economides may be disqualified because he just came into the wrong lane. So here comes Weslaco. Weslaco, Samuel Flores is going to give it to Seth Moya. Edinburgh North had the exchange first, followed by Edinburgh High, and then it was Moya. But Moya out like a bat out of a cave that just got startled. He is out in front. He just made the move, and he is out in front. Now everybody's going to come to the first lane. But Edinburgh High is looking to stay strong out there, and this is going to be Isaiah Cisneros. Cisneros for Edinburgh High and Moya for Weslaco. Moya just overtaking him as we approach the final 150 meters for him. And he just turned it up, Mike.
Yeah, you noticed
Moya.
it, yeah.
And look at that smile, Mike. He's go, I got this, baby. I got this. Here he comes. Moya for Weslaco has the Panthers out in front. And he is going to hand the baton to Rangel. Rangel is another one of our superstars on this track team.
And there he goes.
So
here comes Edinburgh.
Yeah, Edinburgh, they've got Jesus Quintanilla on that third leg. So here they come, first and second, Weslaco and Edinburgh.
Yeah, there's like Weslaco's extending the lead now.
Good job there. We just said another of their superstars, that is Jorge Rangel. We've called his name quite a bit tonight. And he's beginning to open it up for Weslaco. It's Weslaco, Edinburgh, Edinburgh North. 1, 2, and 3 right now as we approach the final 100 meters of the third leg. Good job here by Rangel. But look at Edinburgh. Edinburgh is doing a great job in Jesus Quintanilla. And it's going to come down to the final leg. It's going to be Bo Cuellar for Weslaco, and Edinburgh is going to be Woodrow Villarreal. So Villarreal for Edinburgh and Bo Cuellar for Weslaco. So here they come, Edinburgh and Weslaco. But Edinburgh North,
here they come.
They come in with Ivan Cano, is beginning to make his move. Cano coming on the outside. He is now in second. He is now in first. Cano from Edinburgh North has the Cougars in first place. It is Edinburgh North, Edinburgh, and Weslaco. Edinburgh North, Edinburgh, Weslaco as we come down the final stretch. What a run by Cano for Edinburgh North. But Cuellar for Weslaco hanging on strong, trying to get into second place. Cuellar wants the Panthers in second. Cuellar, can he overtake? Yes, he does.
Yep.
It is Edinburgh North, Weslaco, and Edinburgh. And Bo Cuellar raises that baton as he should, as he ran a great race. So, but Cano, what a good run by Cano to take the gold for Edinburgh North.
Wow. Well, very, very impressive. I mean, he was, I would say, Joe, about what, at least 20 meters behind. And I saw him make his move at about the 300-meter mark. I noticed him just exploding and coming in. And there, well, we look at the last 100 meters or so, he was already ahead of everybody. But he had a lot of work to do after that first curve there and was able to surpass.
Yeah, I saw you pointing that out because I had my eyes on Edinburgh and Weslaco, and you pointed because I could see you, and I saw that. And exactly when you said that, I said, here comes Ivan Cano, watch out.
Yeah, what a spectacular run by that young man.
So Edinburgh North finishes with the gold in the 4x4, followed by Weslaco, and then it's going to be Edinburgh High. So Weslaco with second, they'll finish in the top with the district title.
So now that the meet is over, I do have the results of the last event here for the girls 4x400 meter relay. And in fourth place was PSJA High, and in third place was Edinburgh High School. Second place was Edinburgh Economides, and your first place winner with a time of 4:12.21 is Weslaco High School. And the final standings of the meet is first place was Edinburgh High School with 151 points, so they're going to be your district champions in 31-6A. Second place is Edinburgh North High School with 142 points, and in third place was Weslaco with 138 points. So congratulations to Edinburgh High School. They are your girls 31-6A district champions. And on the boys' side, got the results of the boys 4x400 meter relay. In fourth place was PSJA High. Third place is Edinburgh High School. Second place, Weslaco High School. And your first place winner with a time of 3:28.08 is Edinburgh North High School. However, the team rankings, you have your district champions for 2025 is Weslaco High School with 181 points. A spectacular performance in 31-6A. Second place is Edinburgh High School with 114 points. And third place is PSJ High with 100 points. And fourth place was Edinburgh High School with 89.50. And you see, you look at the trophies there, 31-6A for varsity track and field. I imagine there's going to be some type of a trophy presentation for both Edinburgh and Weslaco High School.
So we'll hang on here for just a little bit, but Mike, what a great day for the Weslaco High athletes. Several athletes on the boys and girls side going to the area round, which is going to be held in Harlingen next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Joe. It's going to be at Harlingen High School. The area meet has been around for give or take about 10 years, right? 6, 7, about 8 or 9, around that neighborhood. Before, it would go from district to regionals.
Yeah.
But then they brought in the area.
Just a population. You've got so many more schools. Just a couple of days ago, I met a lady that grew up in PSJA, and she now lives in Minnesota, and she's in with a group of volunteers that's going to be helping with the cleanup stuff here with the not-for-profit, the Texans on Missions, which is the Baptist organization. And so she was mentioning how she had only been back to the Valley a couple of times, but just the amount of growth that she has seen. She goes, when I was in high school, you know, there was just one school, and now PSJ has 4 schools.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Just about everybody has multiple high schools now at the 6A, 5A level. And so, yeah, we're taking a look at some of the athletes standing on the podium.
That looks like Edinburgh Economedes Edinburgh High with their bronze medal. And of course, here the girls now, the 4x400 meter relay.
And I'm looking at Coach Stroman. They're lifting one of the trophies.
It's going to be the district trophy being handed to Edinburgh High.
Okay, so they're going to pass out the girls' trophy first. So there they are. Big congratulations to Edinburgh High School. The girls' side was phenomenal, Joe, all around, from Edinburgh North, Edinburgh High School, and Weslaco High School, going neck and neck for pretty much the whole meet. And it did come down to the last race, but Edinburgh High prevails.
You know, I think where they really began to kind of separate was in those hurdle events. They had some great hurdles.
Oh, Mia Gonzalez, I was impressed with her. She did an outstanding job.
So there it is, your 2025 31-6A District Champions Girls Division is the Edinburgh Lady Bobcats. So congratulations to those young ladies as they are district champions, getting to wear not only the hardware around their necks, but also get to hoist that district championship trophy. And now the boys are being collected together because it's their turn to be handed the district championship trophy. Coach Gus Cabrera, what a great job he's done with these young men.
Yeah, his first district championship since 2016. So it's been 9 years in the waiting for Coach Cabrera and for the boys track and field program at Weslaco High School.
And they did it in outstanding form, Mike. They really dominated.
Yeah, they really set the tempo with the field events. We're already 26 points ahead. You see Saud Ramiz like, give me that trophy. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to hoist it up in the air.
Where's Andres Valdez? There he is, right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Give it to him first.
Sure. He had a great day. You see Coach Cabrera there. Congratulations to him, the coaching staff. And there's nothing like winning a district championship in your own stadium, in your own home field.
And your own broadcast crew calling it out.
Absolutely. With everybody watching in the scoreboard, that jumbotron we have.
Coach Gabe is there as well.
Thank you very much.
So congratulations to the boys. Weslaco Panthers, the 31-6A champions. And they did it in outstanding fashion tonight.
Yeah, all the hard work, all the blood and sweat, all the blood, sweat, and tears, all the practices for this moment right here of hoisting that district championship, hoisted up in the air for everybody to look at. First time since 2016 for the Weslaco Panthers.
And Principal Yvette Morales is going to be saying hard work pays off.
Yeah, that's her saying.
Right,
we hear it all the time.
Right,
in every event, every competition, regardless of what it is, that's what she always
Academics,
says.
athletics.
And this is where it really does pay off when you hoist things like that.
So again, congratulations to Coach Cabrera and his 31-6A district champions, his Weslaco Panthers, and they are standing there, fighting and jockeying for position to get in those photos and get that trophy for everyone to see. Well, what a night of track and field here from Bobby Lackey Stadium at Texas National Bank Field. And again, Mike, great job as always. We want to thank again our whole KWES crew for the great job that they've done throughout the night. Again, congratulations to the Lady Bobcats, 31-6A champions, girls side, and your Weslaco Panthers, 31-6A boys side, district champions.
Yeah, great job all around by the whole staff throughout the whole season.
Right. So for Mike Gonzalez, I am Joe Aguilar saying good night from Texas National Bank Field at Bobby Lackey Stadium, where once again it is the Lady Bobcats, the 31-6A district champions, and your Weslaco Panthers, the 31-6A champions. Good night. And we'll see you next time right here on KWES.